get it rolling after Giants baseball. Larry Krueger, Dan Coccimilgio, the great Ryan Smith in the house as well. It is the Krueg Show after Giants baseball. 6 in a row. The Giants have lost 6 in a row. And tonight in Arizona, they get 1 run. They miss out on a big opportunity in the 4th inning. They left runners on base. The bottom line is you're not going to beat too many teams in baseball if you can only score a run or 2. And then they got run over at the end. Doval gave up the big home run to Varsho to put the thing on ice, and the Diamondbacks win again over the Giants, and we get it rolling on the Krueg Show. You know, it's very frustrating. First of all, 6 in a row. Second of all, why pull Alex Wood? You know, once again, I mean, Caps feel this year on when to go to the pen, when not to go to the pen. It's just really not there. I mean, it just whatever his guess is wrong. I mean, and maybe he's going to be beat either way. I guess you could make that argument. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Are you saying he should pull a George Costanza?
Well, it's funny. It's like, we've been talking about it. I've said it, 15, 20 times. Play the hot hand. Roll with the hot hand. Yeah. Somebody's going good, stay with him. He had Wood through 5. He'd given up 4 hits and 1 earned run, walked nobody. He's at 71 pitches.
71 pitches. That's just like breaking a sweat.
71 pitches. You've allowed 1 run. And you're in some unbelievable hurry to get to the bullpen, to have a parade of fairly mediocre relievers. Let's be honest. Brebbia, just a guy. He's had a good year this year, but he's just a guy. Tyler Rogers, today he threw a shutout inning, but he's got nearly a 5-point, can't be trusted. Probably just a garbage time reliever. When you're up 5, down 5, that kind of thing. They use him in high leverage situations constantly. Dominic Leone was the guy who struggled tonight. He gave up 2 hits, 4 earned runs, and then Doval gives up the bomb at the end, and most of those runs were charged to Leone. So, frustrating. Giants got a lead.
Sorry, I think there's an ad or a.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Stop. Did it go away?
Yeah. You're good.
Okay. So I mean, it's just another frustrating game for the Giants, and they get 6 hits. They get 1 extra base hit. I mean, Arizona, that's a very hitter friendly yard. Though I have seen their home run numbers are not what they are on the road. Arizona's hitting way more home runs on the road than they are at home this year. But nevertheless, this is a really live offensive yard. And to roll in there and wind up with 6 hits, 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position, left 7 on base. So, I mean, they had opportunities. They had opportunities a lot of the night, and they just couldn't get the big hit. But I guess my big first complaint would be, why are you yanking Wood? Why? You're at least make them hit their way, hit him out of the ball game. He gives up 1 earned run. He's got 71 pitches, and you're going to Brebbia in the 6th. I mean,
well, it's not only that, Larry. It's frustrating as a competitor. Wood's got to be ticked. Like, hey, I'm dealing here. Let me finish what I started. At least let me. We're on a 5-game losing streak. I'm a veteran pitcher, and I've thrown 6 innings, or was it 5? 5 innings.
5
innings, giving up 1 run, and that run just came in the 5th. And gosh, let me go out there and at least see what I can, punch a guy out, get the first out of the 6. If I don't, they start to hit me hard. All right, but gosh, you got to feel like as a competitor, you're not going to get a chance to compete, and that's what these guys want. They want to compete.
I mean, it's like trying to hit a 5-team parlay every night. I mean, that's what it is. Why? Because the Giants are going to go to 4 different relievers, whether the starter looks good or not, whether they have a lead or not, and that since we know it's going to be a parade of relievers. I mean, it'd be one thing if you had the Cincinnati Reds 1990 nasty boys, and you're you're going from Charlton to Dibble to Myers, and you're shutting it down. But they don't have that kind of a pen. Duvall's not that trustworthy. Leon's hit and miss. Rogers can be a gas can. Prebbia's been consistent this year, but last year he wasn't. They just don't have the wipe you out kind of relievers. And it used to be a year ago, one of the key traits for the Giants was if it was their pen against your pen, their pen was probably going to win. Yeah. This year, their pen has lost many games where it's been kind of an even game going to the bullpens, and then the other team's bullpen outpitches the Giants' pen. Right. So, but more than anything, I'm just so frustrated watching this anemic offense. I mean, you're in a total launching pad. You wind up with 6 hits, 5 singles and 1 double. I mean, I haven't seen so many singles since we went to Cheetahs. But up. All right. That was a joke, guys. You're supposed to. All right. But that's, I mean, my goodness, frustrating game for sure. Frustrating stretch.
It's so frustrating when they went down 3-2 in the bottom of the 8th and before Varshaw's homer, you already felt like it was over. At least I did. I didn't think they had it in them to come back in the 9th. You would have liked to see them hold it to 3-2, but in all essence, it's like, this is over. They're not going to score the way they're hitting. And sure enough, I mean, the defense, again, just, I don't know what's going on behind the plate. I mean,
stanky.
I mean, I'm listening to the Diamondbacks broadcast down here because the game's blacked out on MLB. And so I've got the Diamondbacks announcers. And when Wynn was up earlier in the game, they're talking about Austin Wynns, and they said, and this is how the rest of the league views the Giants and Farhan. They said the Giants found another one off the scrap heap. The scrap heap. I mean,
can be equally a compliment and a diss, honestly, depending on how we're going.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, where do these guys come from? I mean, he did get the go-ahead RBI with the blooper down the left field line, but, it was, again, that was just a Texas ligger that just happened to fall fair by inches off the glove of the left fielder. But, I mean, this is just getting to be, it's hard to watch. It really is.
Oh, speaking of 5-team parlays or whatever, I'm just looking at the history because I'm like, pretty sure the Giants, I feel like a bum I don't like betting against my own team, but when they're going like this, I mean, this is their past 6 games or 7 games. Or wait, no, 9. They were minus 160 favorites versus the Reds. They lost. Then they were minus 220 favorites versus the Tigers. They did win. Then they were minus 200 favorites versus the Tigers. They lost. Minus 150 versus the Reds. They lost. Minus 145 versus the White Sox. They lost. Minus 135 versus the White Sox. They lost. Minus 185 versus the Diamondbacks yesterday. They lost. And then tonight was minus 220.
They've been favored in all 9 games.
So basically what you're saying, if you've picked on the Giants in the last 10 days, you're rolling fat.
You're rolling fat. You're getting.
You don't need Danny anymore. You don't need securemoney.com.
That's right.
How about this one, guys? Rebel 444. Please convince me that they aren't tanking or that Kapler hasn't lost the locker room. Please let it be something else. That right there is an interesting question. We've seen Rodon talk about, this team has no energy. We've seen Alex Wood call guys out. They're kind of saying the things that Kapler is supposed to be saying. They're kind of like replacing Kapler in, basically, calling out the team. Where's Kapler to call out the team?
Well, that's
who's calling out the team? How hard does this team work, and who's calling them out when they're not having success?
Yeah.
They got a bunch of young coaches. Last year they had young coaches and old coaches. This year they basically said, hey, old coaches, i.e. Ron Wotus, you get into a different role. Now it's a room full of young coaches. How hard does this team work? How focused is this team? How prepared is this team? Why is it that Kapler seems like he's almost sheepish squished when he's talking. The media seems like they're tiptoeing around Kapler, like Kapler's going to blow up. Kapler needs to be asked some tough questions, and he needs to have his feet held to the fire a little bit. I mean, seriously, your team is sleepwalking through this season. You make zero adjustments. Everything's like a 3:00 maneuver. I'd like to see Gabe fire these guys up a little bit, or have the veterans in the room tuned out Gabe. And is it a bigger problem? And I'm starting to wonder. The more I watch this team, the more I think, you know what? Maybe Cap has lost the room. Maybe they're not listening to him anymore. Maybe he doesn't have a big say because he doesn't seem. Where's the entity in this organization that's going to challenge these players to be better? I ain't getting it from Cap. I ain't hearing it from Cap in the post game. If you question anything about a player, he's quick to defend the players. All right, but they're playing like crap. And your own players say they have no energy, and you're the leader in the room. So guess what, buddy? It falls on you. So, it's one of those things where I'd like to see a little bit more life from this bunch. Now, I don't like the hand that Farhan put together as far as this club. Don't like it at all. Don't like it. Feel it's anemic, too thin. But what I'm starting to really not like are these just kind of formulaic, dead as a doornail answers that I'm hearing from Kapler in these post-game sessions. Where's the leadership? Where's the shake the tree? Who's going to challenge the players to be any better? Tell me what you're going to do differently. Don't tell me that why you should do what you keep doing day after day after day. Where's the creativity? I didn't see creativity with how this roster was constructed by Farhan, and I'm sure as hell not seeing any creativity in how the talent's being utilized right now. They're dead. They're dead. I mean, everything about this team is just dead. And you're going to send down Donovan Walton and this parade of meaningless roster decisions. None of it makes a damn of a difference. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like, really? So you demoted Donovan Walton,
Yeah.
Show me a move that actually makes me want to tune in and watch it. Show me a move that's going to make me feel like what I watched today. I'm going to see something different tomorrow. Right now, I just see a dead team with not a lot of power, not a lot of speed. And guess what, guys? From where I'm sitting, it doesn't look like this team has a real belief. And when you lose your belief, you've kind of lost a lot. So I don't know what the solution is, but I think it might be time to hold Cap's feet to the fire a little bit more on the kinds of answers that he puts forth to try to explain this crap. And then also just where's the creativity? It's like, and then I want to hear questions asked directly. I'd like to hear somebody ask a direct question. You pulled Peterson for Slater. Why? Instead of, well, Slater's giving us a lot of at-bats. Adjust, Cap. Slater's a relative nobody. Peterson's a borderline all-star. On this team, you might as well be freaking, you're Willie McCovey or Willie Mays or Will Clark or Matt Williams. Why? Because he's the one that people pay to see. He's the reason people go. And you're yanking him in the fifth a couple games ago and a double in a lefty righty matchup. So I got to see something that tells me that we're making adjustments and that there's a new view of things. And I just get the sense that Kapler doesn't want to challenge these players. This young coaching staff doesn't want to hold these players' feet to the fire, doesn't want to hold them accountable as far as how hard they work. And we're seeing a relatively dead product repeat, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. They had a pretty good April, sub 500 in May, 500 in June, sub 500 in July. We got to see something new. We got to see something new here in the days ahead because they get nothing. They get nothing anybody wants. They're only in this race because they keep adding playoff teams in the National League. I mean, other than that, they're in nothing. They haven't shown. They're like an 85 win team that without, I've seen worse Giants teams than this. I don't know if I've seen too many that were as boring as the product that we see from this club. Yeah, I've seen worse teams, but this team's pretty freaking sleepy right now.
Absolutely, Larry. I was at last night's game or yesterday afternoon's game here in Arizona, and I was down by the dugout. I looked in the dugout, and that looked like a dead dugout. There was no life in it. And this was when it was, 4-3 ball game. They were in the game. There was nothing exciting. The guys aren't, pumped up. And, you look at the Diamondbacks tonight, their bench, they tie it up and they're making signs out to the other players. And, they're a crappy team too. I mean, they're second to last? The Giants are actually closer to last place than they are first. They're third out of 5 in the division, but they're
only 4 games behind us.
Yeah, they're closer to last place. They're like 5 games away from the Rockies of being in dead last. Now, if you look at Gabe, take a look at his record.
He's got a beautiful beard. He's got a manicured beard.
5 years in the league. Okay. 2 with the Phillies.
500 basically both those years with great teams.
If you
huge talent.
If you throw out just last year's record altogether and you just take his 4 years, including the shortened 2020 season, he's 230 wins and 233 losses now. So last year, the guys came out of spring training, and Gabe will say this if you ask him, he gives the credit to the veterans. They believe they could win the division last year. They had Posey, and he was their leader. And at times he would get up and have to speak at times or you had a Crawford. Somebody was speaking. This team is really it looks like it's being babysat by Gabe, and he's really not the parent. He looks like, well, I'm not really the parent to make all the decisions because the parent is somewhere up in the booth, somewhere above me. And I'm just looking at this card and I'm told that it says here, pinch hit La Stella for
VR
here, down 6-2 because Tommy's hasn't had an at bat and VR's. He's a rookie, and
the parents
looked a little foolish. Looked a little foolish against the right-hander. We don't want him to look too foolish another time against Melanson. So put in a guy who can't run, and if he hits it anywhere in the gap, he might beat it out and get a double. But
we can't let any of the parents, in the little league stands get mad that their boy didn't get an at bat.
And then it's like what? Are you managing the club to win freaking games, Gabe? Are you managing the club so some of the veterans will cover your ass in the clubhouse? What's the real motivation for why you're managing these games? Absolutely, Villar should never have been pinch hit there by La Stella. La Stella's dead. La Stella's old. La Stella's broken down. You just called Villar up because he's raking. Let him give him some consistent ABs.
Exactly. That's how you make it in this league.
Romo, by the way, Romo 2001 donates $5. He said, I heard Bill Lasky say that Kapler does not talk to the team in the clubhouse and stays in his office. Huh, great. That's the team's self-govern, not how to lead a team. I'm not going to tell Cap how to manage. I'm just going to say, when was the last time you've heard him say anything that would in any way be questioning anything about any of his players? And he never will question a veteran. It's like, buddy, I mean, what are we doing? Are we running for office? Are we trying to be, Greg Brady, most popular boy in school? That's an old Brady Bunch reference for those of you. What are we doing here? Rebel 444, curse of the hand tattoo. Do you think that could be it?
It seems like it all fell apart when he decided not to come out for the national anthem.
Seriously, enough of your political statements. Manage the GD team. MF says Krug shows are real and they discuss real topics. Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know where to start with this team. It's just they're so dull, so dry.
One of the things that irritates me is you're playing like I put a tweet out earlier today before the game. I said they're playing like the bad news Bears defensively. And they put Ruff in left field. Play your defensive guys. If you want Ruff to bat, then DH him. But don't put him out there in left field. Now, tonight he didn't have a chance.
How about the angle that he took yesterday?
Exactly. That was what I'm talking about.
That was the worst angle of all time.
Awful. I mean, I was watching it right down the line. I was
watching Tarvarius Moore against the Steelers.
It's like
it's awful.
And I'm thinking, play your guys out there that can play defense because – play if you got to have Slater in the lineup, play him in center, put Jock in left and Yaz in right. Okay, forget the stupid platoon thing. It's not working. Guys are hitting, Ruff's hitting. I looked it up. I can't even remember the number, but it was the low 200s against lefties. He's hitting worse against righties, but is Yaz that much worse against lefties? Well, he is a little bit, but so what? I want to see defense because it's not like guys are hitting the ball all over the yard. If you're not hitting, go with defense, because defense and pitching can spark your club. If you're hitting and a guy's hot and he's terrible in the field, then fine, find a spot for him. But don't put guys out in the field that aren't hot, that can't play in the field.
Was last year luck?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that a big part of it was just Posey. He knew it was his last year, and all those guys. I honestly think it's annoying to say this about professional athletes, especially when it's your own team. But I think those guys just kind of, they emptied the clip last year, and maybe they'll come back next year and be a little bit better. Well, you hope that they maybe be dedicated enough to maybe start doing some yoga and whatever the heck in the offseason, Tom Brady style, and come back and just with a vengeance. But instead, it seems like everyone came in a little out of shape. Everyone's getting soft tissue injuries, getting cramps on the mound. And, this is the thing about Kapler. I'll say, we're talking about putting his feet to the fire. Let's just, I
want to see him hold somebody accountable for this mediocre, lifeless product that we see nightly. Well, I don't see that at all, right? I don't see him saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm kind of getting sick of watching this crap." You know what I mean? I'd like to see him one time show his teeth. One time, I'd like him to sack up and challenge somebody. Instead, we've got this kind of like these formulaic answers, beat writers that seem really afraid to in any way challenge him on anything, and this parade of lefty righty matchup games that doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. And it's like, I don't know. The team needs a shake. They need something, right? 6 in a row they've lost against teams that are sub 500. Heck, there were people saying 8-3 in this 11-game stretch. They're going to be lucky if they go 3-8.
Let's take a look at this roster, and I'll tell you what I believe happened last year. Buster, as you said, Rye, he knew it was last year, even if the other guys didn't. The vibe rubbed off on him that he was giving it his all. Crawford was in a contract year. Belt was in a contract year. Okay, so now, and then you look at Yaz. He didn't have a great year. He had a pretty good year in 2020, right? In 2019, he came up. 2020 is a short season. Then you look at Wade. He comes off out of nowhere, has a great year. Now the league's adjusted. He's not, is Lamont Wade. He hasn't played a lot, but he's not no superstar. Okay, so you've got that. You got Slater. He's just an average, slightly above average player. He's not a star. Okay, and then you got second base. Who's the second base? It's a revolving door. Estrada is probably your best guy at second base, and he's been the most consistent player besides Gonzalez. Now, we don't know what Gonzalez is going to do. He looks like a really good hitter, but the league might figure him out. And so we don't know. But if you look at last year, guys had career years. Crawford and Belt had their best years of their career at 33, 34, whatever they were. Are they going to continue to do that? Not likely. And you signed Crawford for 2 years. So, Crawford's got 1 year after this. I don't know. You also had Donnie Ecker. Maybe he was the MVP. He was their lead hitting instructor.
Where'd he go?
Texas Rangers.
Rangers, yep.
Yeah. Okay. So they lost him.
MF says, how did they sweep the Dodgers?
Well, it's really not that surprising if you go look back. It's just we got lucky, basically, that the Dodgers didn't score runs because we didn't. It's not like we scored runs. We were
scoring 2 and 3 runs.
Someone's already asking, what's the alternate topic for tonight, fellas? Yeah, should we talk your favorite melon? Favorite melon.
Wait, I still got that melon from Costco.
You still have that melon from Costco? They don't last that long, Danny.
Yeah, well, I just chomp a little bit a day,
Yeah.
Having a little bit, but
Romo 2001. This is a train wreck. I'm not sure what needs to happen because there are so many factors at work. Yes, Rye, you were going to say.
I was going going to say, so, obviously I'd love for Kapler to, hold some of his players accountable as well, but it'd be interesting just to hear as an experiment, really, is if, our media kind of went at Kapler and all of a sudden stuff was starting to leak out about, questioning Kapler. Is Kapler on the hot seat? I just want to see that because I want to see what players come to his defense. Because I have no idea. I have no idea if they even would.
None did.
Yeah, exactly. So
should we pay Grant Cohn to get in there and just start asking him,
well,
hey, Gabe, Darren Ruff, WTF, WTF on Darren Ruff, and just see Cap, just see his beard just explode, incinerate. It would be awesome. It would absolutely be incredible.
Yeah. You look at this team though.
Hey, Gabe. What the hell's going on? That's it. Hey, Gabe, I got a quick question for you. What the hell's going on with your club? They look pretty dead.
You look at Boch. When Boch was the manager, you knew the buck stopped with Boch. Do you get that feeling with Kapler?
No, it's a different managerial style. But and then the other thing I'm pissed about is it goes back to during the football season when Brandon Staley was kind of going bananas with the going for fourth. On every fourth down, whatever. The thing that I don't like about when they lead on the analytics with every answer is it's well, guess what? You can never be wrong because you always pick. Our number said Slater in this situation. So you basically
you're wrong when you're wrong when you lose.
Yeah,
they've lost 6 in a row. They're officially wrong.
They've lost 12 of 15 against who?
Yeah.
They're 3 and 12 in their last
wrong.
15.
I don't care what the analytics say.
Imagine
Jack,
if they were
wrong.
8 and 7, and these are against sub 500 teams.
Yeah,
people thought they were going to get fat in this part of the schedule.
Yeah,
That's the amusing part because they really weren't playing that well coming into this stretch. Everybody just looked at the matchup and said, "Oh yeah, they're going to fatten up." But
listen to Rodon's words, though. What Rodon said, he says, "I don't know what's got to happen, but something needs to happen." So, you're hearing players' frustration either with the management or the players they've got. He's not just saying something's got to happen, like we got to start playing better. No, he's saying something has to change. And
it seems like Farhan's saying is blaming a lot of stuff on mental. Like he's saying, "Oh, I think the defense. I think it's a mental thing, or I think the hitting is a mental thing." Well, I don't know. Maybe we should shake up what we're doing.
Yeah, what are you saying? So the Giants have put 19 guys on the injured list with a lobotomy, and it's all mental. It's funny. People turn on Cap. Adam Salas. Kapler does nothing to motivate this team. Kapler's a bum. This guy Kyle says Kapler's looking really bad right now. It's funny. Peter says this team is just bad. I'm sorry, but if Farhan is planning to tank this season, at least tell the fans. I'm not feeling optimistic with the Giants right now. Should you be? The organization is as bad as the A's. All right. Whoa. Let's come on now. Let's pump the brakes. Are they as bad as the A's? Come on. They're not the A's. But let me throw it to you guys this way. 2020, finish this sentence. 2022's Giants struggles are more about blank than blank. Do you like this? Remember that game where the match game, or was it blank? Well, blank. Is this more about Gabe?
No,
is this more about Farhan?
Yeah, I think it's more about, I was going to say it's more about the Farhan than the players, because he's the one that constructed this team.
So you're saying it's more about Farhan than Gabe?
Yeah, I think so, because Gabe's dealing with the hand he's dealt, and it doesn't look good when you got Donnie Walton coming up, you got Stuart Fairchild,
he's out now. Donnie Walton's gone.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the parade of guys that come up.
Right. Yeah.
I know.
Stuart Fairchild, and all these guys, by the way, these guys have all made great plays and then terrible plays. Tyro's made some incredible plays and a bunch of terrible plays. He's made great plays and bad plays. Same with Walton. And that's what happens with these kind of 4A kind of those guys that are kind of, they'll make a great play, but then they'll make a bad play.
Hey, if I go out and sign 10 guys, all right, if I go find 10 guys in the minors, I'll be lucky. I'll probably hit on one of them, but 9 out of the 10 guys that we're going after, predominantly have been bust. And so you hit one, you hit a Yaz for a while, you hit a Gonzalez, you hit Wade last year. But the question is can they continue it? I mean, Yaz is looking like was a career minor league hitter. He's hitting 230, I'm guessing, something like that. He was hitting 300 in May, at the end of May. Now he's down like 230. He's swinging at pitches out of the zone. He's chasing. He's a great defensive outfielder. But is he like, a guy that is a can't miss guy? I'm beginning to think maybe he's just an average player. I don't see him as an all-star. Where's an all-star besides Jock? Where's an all-star besides Jock?
I think Webb and Rodon deserve it, but
yeah, I'm talking about just
Luis Gonzalez has been pretty damn good.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, I mean, the Giants are struggling across the board here.
And what's the backup
Fatty
plan?
says Kapler's a roid high fiend. Messes with your logic. I don't know about that.
And you want to look at
he's a little yoked up, but now he's roids. I don't know. They don't test the managers though, right? Peter says, congratulations, Larry. You get to join 95.7 The Game with Mark Willard. I knew you would be back with Willard. Yes, I'll be on with Willard on Thursday. Please, everybody who's listening to this, join me on 95.7. I'll be filling in different time slots this week, Thursday and Friday, with Mark Willard, 9 a.m. on Thursday and Friday. So,
yeah, the other thing about that is if you guys are out of the area, like me being in Arizona, I can pick up the game with Alexa. I just say, hey, Alexa, play 95.7. And
it's also on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's right. It's also on YouTube and also, we'll still be doing these as well. People say, well, what's going to happen to your channel? Nothing's going to happen with the channel. The channel's still going to go on. We're going to do both. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But yeah, it's just so frustrating with the Giants right now. It's like, I don't know what the solution is. I was talking to some people today who feel like the team doesn't work that hard, that Kapler is, coddles the players, that he doesn't really challenge anybody, that they miss their veteran coaches, that, now it's, you've got, it's the players are always right. Nobody is ever going to talk tough to the players in any way or challenge them. I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, but I'm seeing a lack of leadership. And I don't know if it's just because the loss of Posey and what he means to the team, but I don't see anybody, calling out the mistakes or everything's kind of excused away. And then there's all this, you can tell by the way the questions are asked that everybody's ass is just so puckered, so damn tight around Kapler. Like Kapler is John McGraw. Like he can do no wrong. Like you could never question the supreme think tank of Gabe Kapler. What did you say his career record is, Danny? Sub 500, right? Well,
if you throw out last year.
So he's over 500.
But he's about 50 games over 500 because last year they were 107 and 55. So
right. And last year he deserves a lot of the credit for last year. But man, what's happened in a year? Did Posey mean that much? Well, where's the Gabe doesn't sound that frustrated by the team. He doesn't. No, he doesn't seem like he's always.
We're going to turn it around.
He always has an excuse for why the players failed. I mean, it's like, where's the accountability here? Romo 2001 donates $5. He says Kapler managed awesome teams in Philly and did not accomplish much. It's a surprise he can't do much with a lesser team talent wise. I don't know if they were awesome teams, but they were good. They had Bryce Harper. They had Bryce Harper, on those teams.
Here's something to think about that is not too comforting if you're a Giants fan. You look at this current roster, the way it's constructed, you say, okay, well, yeah, but we got young guys coming up. Well, our young guys are at high A. Listen to the guys on the Sacramento, the AAA team. Catchers, Bart and Parada. Okay, Bart may come up. He's on the taxi squad. I personally think they should stick with the plan and give him another 50 to 60 at bats in the minors and get him adjusted. Because if that's what he was sent down for and the job's not completed, why would you bring him back up and throw him into the fire again so he fails? Let's see him get his swing that you worked on correcting, get it solid. Give him 100 at bats. He's had 28 at bats down there. Now you're going to possibly bring him up, maybe even as early as tomorrow. I personally don't agree with that because if he
agree or disagree, they're probably saying he's the best we got, but aren't they in the midst of trying to rebuild him? So I agree with you, Danny.
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to rebuild him. Don't rebuild him here at the major league level.
I don't think you can.
What's that?
I want to say, Rye?
Oh, I was just saying I want Papirski and the Max Kellerman.
Yeah. So
Gonzo says Rogers and Leone look like they have tired arms. I agree with that. I do. Yeah. Especially Leone. Leone's lost some giddy up. It doesn't seem like his pitches have the same explosiveness.
Here's the rest of their roster down there. Isan Diaz. I'd like to see him personally up at
line drive
base.
Hitter, former Marlin top prospect.
He's got some. He's hit 15 homers down there at AAA.
Does he have 15 home runs?
Yes. I get him up here because he's got speed, and you can platoon him with Estrada. And then I personally would get VR over to third, play him at his natural position. He looks lost at second. He's kind of, he's play him at third.
How about the play in the seventh he almost didn't make?
Oh, gosh, he bobbled it, and he almost.
They lost the game anyway, but they could have. What if if he had made an error there, they probably would have sat him for a week.
Yeah. Here's the rest of the infielders down at Sacramento. Archimedes Gamboa. Jason Cruzon, we've seen that act.
He's a minor leaguer.
Yeah, Wyatt Matheson. Okay, Jason Vosler.
Vosler's a minor leaguer.
Will Wilson, who's hurt. They're outfielders. Willie Calhoun, Austin Dean.
What's Willie Calhoun hitting?
He's let me look here.
I wouldn't mind seeing Willie Calhoun.
I mean, Ramos, Kai Tom, Ishmael Manguia, and Bryce Johnson. So I mean, there's guys that they're not even in their top 30 prospects. Let me look at the stats here and see what Calhoun is hitting.
Well, I mean, here's the bottom line. They don't have strikeout arms. They got pitchers who, get ground balls and teams put the ball in play against the Giants. Well, that's great if you got a good D, but when you have a disaster D, that's like a nightmare. And that's where they're at. They've got a bad defense and a pitching staff that doesn't get punch outs. So that means balls are put in play, and that means errors are being made. And I think that it's a poorly constructed club from that standpoint. This club leaned heavily on Brandon Crawford and the middle of the diamond with Duggar and Crawford and Posey. I mean, think about the difference between last year when you had Posey and Duggar and Crawford and who was their best second baseman? Solano's not a very good defensive player, but he was serviceable, good offensive player. But look at that middle infield compared to this year, Papirski and Walton and Slater. I mean, you've eroded your middle of the defense core, the middle of your core of your defense right down the middle of the field, and you're noticeably worse in each spot. So that's concerning. To me, that's a big factor in why they've regressed is that they don't get punch outs. Teams put the ball in play, and then they don't make the plays. It's a parade of errors. Yesterday was just embarrassing. I mean, yesterday was Little League. I mean, it was like bad news Bears crap.
Yeah, that's what I put in a tweet out there today. It's
tough to watch. I agree with Danny. I'd rather see some good defense. At least you have some consistency, as opposed to the kick to the gut, because you give up some crooked inning late on the back of bad defense.
Yeah, I also hate to say it, but like Jock Peterson, he's fine out there, but, some of these balls that get to the wall, it's just, if you just had a plus defender out there, there's certainly a chance of at least getting to it. And I was going to ask, do you guys know anything about Bryce Johnson?
No, I'm not even 100% sure he actually exists.
He's with the minors, right? He's with
That's like Krueg and Kite making guys up in spring training. Yeah, Ted Johnson out and left. That's old man Johnson's kid. Krueg says stuff like that. Yeah, if you don't know him, just call him Ted Johnson.
So I liked Bryce Johnson just looking at his stuff or his stats and whatnot. So he hit 285 in Sacramento last year. He's 26 years old. And then this year he's hitting 292. Only 4 home runs, but he's stolen 18 bags. So I was just thinking, man, maybe that guy's, some speed, probably plays some pretty good defense.
You've got enough speed, though. If you put,
they have enough speed.
You got Gonzalez. Gonzalez will be back probably in a week.
He's a suspect. He's not a prospect.
Gonzalez should be one of your everyday outfielders.
But who else do we have that's fast besides?
They got a AAA type team right now.
Slater's fast, and
Slater's fast for this team. I'm talking about a guy that could steal actual.
Slater's fast. What the hell was Ricky Henderson?
I think he's like 10 for 10 though.
What was Vince Coleman? If Slater's fast? What was Vince Coleman? A blur.
I mean, MLB The Show's not the say all. It's not 100% accurate with all its ratings, but Slater's a 70 speed, and that's about as fast as we've got on the team.
Yeah,
so it'd be nice to have somebody that would at least put pressure on. VR actually looks like he actually is.
He's got a nice little right center approach. I like that.
Also, does he not look exactly like the spitting image of Nolan Arenado?
He's pretty much. I spoke with his dad yesterday at the ball game. And
what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked with.
How did you go speak to Villar's father?
When he got his first hit.
Did you stalk him?
I stalked him. I hunted him down. What happened was.
Well, how did you identify yourself?
I just said that
what
Dan with the Krueg show, and that we'd love to be able to speak. First, I went up. What happened was on Twitter, his highlight was on.
How did you know it was him?
Well, I saw a picture of his stepmom, and his dad jumping for joy after he hit the double off the wall on his first pitch he saw. And I saw him, and I says, I think I know where he's in the back row, because I could tell he was in the back row because there was a little fence behind him. So I walked around, and I kind of found him, and then I went up to Mrs. VR, and I said, are you David VR's mother? And she said, well, I'm her stepmom, and this is Dad. I said, well, that's fantastic. Welcome and congratulations, all that stuff. And said, I would love to be able to talk to you a little bit just to.
You asked for an interview.
Yeah. But the agent was there talking, and the agent said, told the dad not to say anything because David hasn't had a chance to speak yet. So I talked to him off the air, and he was cool. He was just ecstatic. He got the call from David at 2 a.m. because his phone was off. And so he was asleep. He lives in Florida, and the stepmom's phone rang, and she picked up, and David had something. David told her, put it on speaker. And so she put it on speaker and says, David says, I got the call finally. He used the word finally. So I got the call. And so Dad jumped on a plane. Giants covered the dad's trip from Florida. And I guess he took care of his wife's trip. So they got on the same plane, jumped on a plane in the morning, got out to Arizona. And he said David's always been a big pool hitter, and that he's learned
pool hitter or pool.
I was going
to say maybe he's perfect for the Diamondbacks. They have a pool.
Yeah.
He's a pool hitter. He's a pool hitter, and they have a pool. I mean,
But he said he's learned to go to. Yeah, he said he's learned to go to right. And he figured it out. So the fact that he's going to right field, because I looked at his highlights on AA on YouTube.
Right.
He had 20 home runs, which is a Richmond record for home runs. I think 18 of them were dead down the line, and then he hit one or two into center field and one just right of center field.
What do you think of this, by the way? Kyle says Krug Cap just said Woods started cramping up. I don't know.
I guess
take a Midol. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
Midol.
I'm not.
Midol. There we go. Alex Woods on his period. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have a solution for cramps. All right. I don't know. It's the whole thing is just it's frustrating to watch. It really is. Just because you're sitting there and you're watching this and you're like, God, man, this thing's so sleepy. It's like it's not even about win or lose. It's about like we've seen worse Giants teams than this. It's not that they're just so bad. It's just that it's so nondescript. You know, that's really, I think, the bigger issue. It's a nondescript group. I was thinking about this. What is the Giants' real issue this year? And what I centered on, guys, tell me what you think of this little theory. I think there's two reasons that people basically go and support a baseball team. And the two reasons are they've got stars or they've got a really good record. And the way baseball typically works is like people buy tickets in the offseason. So the Giants won 107 last year. So I think if there had not been a lockout, they would have sold a lot of tickets and there'd be a lot more people at these games. Obviously, they're on the road right now, but you know what I'm saying? It's like they didn't get the momentum off the 107 because there was no off season. So then it wasn't like, so then people were looking at it this year and they're making their ticket buying decision right now. And they're looking at things going, well, do they have a star? No. Do they have anybody we really want to see? No. Are they playing particularly well? No. There you go. We won't go. I think that's it right there. I mean, there's been nights where they're quoting 22,000, and I'm looking around the stadium. And I'm like, this looks like 12.5.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, yeah. Danny, you were there, but I just seemed like they're 22. They can make 22,000 look like a freaking ghost town. It's amazing. They don't have any momentum right now with the fans. And I think it's because everybody's making their ticket buying decisions in the present. And in the present, they ain't going that good and they ain't that fun to watch. None of last year I don't think they're getting the residual bump off what they would typically get off 107 win year.
Not at all. And I'll tell you exactly what's going on because me not being local right now and I'm not in the Bay Area, I sell my tickets on StubHub.
Heck, you're a media guy trying to get an interview in Arizona right now.
So I'm selling my tickets. And early on, when was that homestand? Did it start with Detroit? Was it a 2 games or was it before or was it Cincinnati? It was Cincinnati.
Okay. Detroit.
Yeah. The Cincinnati tickets started to sell and I was selling them for basically, I don't try and mark my tickets up. I just sell them for what I pay for them. And occasionally there's games I'll mark up like the Dodgers or Will Clark Day or something like that. But most of the time I lose money on the tickets. I don't get face value for what I paid. Well, as the homestand continued against Detroit and then really noticed it against Chicago, I sold one Chicago game, the Fire Nights were the Friday night early on. But the Saturday, Sunday game, I had to sell those they were $99 tickets is what I paid for them. I sold one for 19 a set, 19 each, and the other one was 29 or 30. I kept dropping them and dropping them.
You're secure securemoney.com on the web, but that doesn't sound like a good financial arrangement. Buy them for 99, sell them for 19.
Not at all. And I'm ticked because if they're good, they're going good, I'll sell the tickets easily. And the thing is I'm a fan that probably at this point, unless I see a drastic turnaround and they make the playoffs, probably won't renew just because the product is not good and it's not a good investment for me. I don't mind, I paid $12,000 for the tickets for a set of 2. If I get 10 out of the 12 back and they make the playoffs, good. I can enjoy the playoffs or make money if I sell them for the playoffs. But if I'm only going to get about 6 back of my 12 investment and they're going to have, opening day shortstop is Donnie Walton and the center fielder Stuart Fairchild and the catcher is Austin Wins from the scrap.
It's like the season snuck up on them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to renew that. I can go. I'll go watch AAA before that. I mean, that's basically what this team is. You know, what's that thing where you you put your kids in? They call it four something. What is it called?
Foursquare.
No, is that it? What it is? Foursquare?
No, you're talking about donating to charities,
like horse thing.
4K or something like that.
4K,
No,
someone in the audience help me out.
Yeah, you know, right?
4chan? I don't know.
Something like four. Yeah, I participated in four something. Well, this is like 4A team. 4H. There it is. 4H. Thanks, Nick.
4H. 4H.
Yeah, that's it. This is 4A. This is a 4A team. It's between AAA and the major leagues. It's not a major league team. It's 4A. Thank you, Nick Martinez.
Oh man. Well, I mean, the worst part is there's no pivot off of this. It's not like they can be decisive, because think about it. They don't really. I personally would trade probably a couple prospects for guys right now. Why? Because I don't really believe in the prospects. But they don't seem like they're in that mode. So then you go into the sell mode, and they're, for all their problems and issues, and they're like 2 or 3 games out of the playoff berth right now. So they're not going to do that. Why? Because they've won a World Series out of the wild card, the wild card deal. So they've made the playoffs as a wild card. They've won the World Series as a wild card. So now they're just, how many times all these Giants apologists, get ready for this one. Hey, man, you can't sell. You just gotta hope you get in, and hey, if you get into the playoffs, man, anything can happen. It's like, I almost want to choke out the next person who says that, because it's like, yeah, I guess. But I mean, with Major League Baseball adding wild cards, and with the trade deadline in July, you'd almost have to be just an abomination from hell to not be within arm's distance of a playoff berth.
Well, right now
they're
really
just always going to delude themselves into thinking that when do you build? That would be my question, is if you're never out of it, or if you're never out of it to sell, when do you ever make the kinds of building trades that you probably need to accelerate your rebuild? They're kind of in this rebuild, but since they are always going to delude themselves into thinking they've got a shot at the World Series, like this year, do they have a chance to win the World Series? Do they realistically?
Not a chance right now.
I would say not a chance in hell, but they won't. They'll delude themselves into trading for guys. They're not going to trade guys away. Now, you could argue they don't have a lot of guys to trade away. Granted. But it's not like they have nobody. You could get something for Carlos Rodon. You could get something for Jock Peterson. You could make a trade.
Somebody.
But they aren't going to do it. They're not going to do it because right now they're going to look at the standings. Right now, if you look at the standings, where are they in the wild card race?
They got 2 teams ahead of them for the 3rd spot. They got the Cardinals and the Phillies ahead of them. You look at the Phillies. They've got Bryce Harper, who's out probably for another 6-7 weeks. He'll probably come back in September, and they'll be in it. I mean, they're hanging in there without him. They got Schwarber and Castellanos. Schwarber hit 2 home runs tonight, numbers 24 and 25. He was available in the offseason. You could have had him easily.
He's probably available right now.
And still had Jock. Why do we have to limit ourselves to one guy that we think is a power hitter? Why can't we have Jock and Schwarber and one of them DHs and one plays in the field? I mean, Jock's better in the field than Schwarber, but I mean, why not have some monster bats? We need some monster bats. That's it. That's the problem. We got weenie bats.
We have weenie bats.
Kyle says, I'll shoot this out again, Larry. Wood told the pitching coach that when he walked to the mound that he had a right hamstring tightness. That's why Cap pulled him. So he gets a gimme tonight on that move. All right. Fair enough.
All right. So
I retract my criticism.
Yeah. So the bats thing is I mean, I don't know what's going on. Maybe there's just too much coconut oil going around the clubhouse and it's got all the bats limp. I don't know what the heck's happening, but
that one went over my head.
it's an old
Vicky
joke.
says Buster being gone is the problem. Is it as simple as that?
It's more than that. That's a big part of it, but it's
Vicky's
more
a
than
member.
that.
Oh no, she's not a member. She's in green.
It's more than that. You know what I'm going to do here? I am going to look at the top free agents.
Well, Vicky is a member. Sorry about that, Vicky. Yes, you are a member.
You got 2 shortstops that are going to be on the free agent market next year. And I say go get one of them. One is Trey Turner, and the other is Dansby Swanson. Crawford's got.
What are you going to do with Crawford?
Play him at short and put Swanson at third base next year for 1 year. Tell him he's the shortstop of the future. Luciano will be either a third baseman or corner outfielder, probably right field.
Maybe Trey Turner would do that. I don't know about Swanson. Is Swanson going to do that? Isn't Swanson? I thought Swanson was from Georgia.
He is, but he's a free agent.
He's not going anywhere.
Carlos Correa is another.
Dansby's sticking in Georgia. That's my guess. Wow. Trey Turner, though, I think you might be able to get.
I mean, Trey Turner. He's fast. He's a leadoff guy or bat him third. The Dodgers bat him third. I personally
we're gonna. How much is he gonna be? Freaking 500 million?
Who cares? He's probably 30 million, but they got the cash. I mean, they got, you know how much they're committed to in 2024 once 24 comes along? They got 14 million is all they're committed to on the books. 14 million or 18 million. This is a club that should be spending.
First of all, they're spending. There's what percent? I mean, the Giants are spending tens of millions of dollars less than they've spent in the past.
Oh, so,
yeah. They shouldn't. I don't want to hear about the future when their books are cleared. Their payroll right now is a fraction of what it used to be.
And there's some pitching out there that's available. Sean Manaea is going to be a free agent.
Rebel 444 says Trey Turner wants to play on the East Coast.
Supposedly, but money talks.
I'm just being pessimistic, but I don't really care about like these 29 to 32-year-old free agents, even if they're all-star pedigreed. I want to build something here, so I don't really think it's going to do us much good just bringing in.
How long do you wait? The fan base is not going to go through. I mean, you're coming off of a 107 win. That bottom 2
years. I'd say.
That bottom this year. I don't.
Well, obviously didn't buy them too much. They're not selling tickets right now.
Right, but I don't.
I mean, the Giants right now are. I mean, somebody mentioned this to me today that they're very much like Candlestick right now. They sell big on the weekends, and it's a ghost town during the week.
Yeah, you can't. You go to a Tuesday or Wednesday night, or even if there's a Monday night game, nobody goes. Nobody goes. They'll go to an afternoon game, a Thursday or a Wednesday afternoon game, more than they will the night games during the week. So. But yeah, this team is still. If you look at their website, they're forecasting all these young guys, Luciano and the Bishops and the
Bishops hitting like 230 in the minors.
Yeah, and they're forecasted for 2023, which is next year. I don't see it. There's no way they're going to jump from A to the major leagues and be successful. Now, if the plan is to let them become like the Houston Astros when they did their rebuild, when they tanked in 2011, 12, 13, they were awful. And all of a sudden, they start winning, and then they're a 100-win team every year since all those guys came up. Yeah, I can live with that. If I knew what the plan was, like Rye said a month ago, what's the blueprint? What's the plan?
Well, this was part of the plan. They gave DeSclafani 3 years, $36 million. Yeah. How bad is that looking right now?
Well, right now it doesn't look good, but hopefully he comes back next year. The ankle is fixed, and he'll be, $12 million for a starting pitcher is not a ton of money if the guy is gives you under 4 ERA and wins you 12 games. That's doable.
Matthew Mears says today was Little League when the Giants catchers letting balls go to the backstop every other pitch.
That was pretty weird to see that. Yeah. I mean, you you don't
see. Chris Taylor got hurt for the Dodgers today. Not on a pleasant note, I'm just joking. But as far as I did see that. Did you guys see that Dodgers lost Chris Taylor? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
some kind of an extended foot injury. I think it's a broken foot. So
might be. Yeah, look at all the free agents next year.
I would love to know how the players feel about Kapler, though. I really would.
Yeah, I want to know.
You could rebuild this team very quickly with the money that they have. I mean, you look at the catchers. I mean, Contreras is out there. Okay, that's about the only one that's really worth putting any money in. But first base, Belt is a free agent this year, and I don't see them re-signing him. And if they do, it'd probably be a 1 year for $10 million or something like that. They're paying him $18 million this year, and I think it's probably time to, unless Brandon has a great second half and has this resurgence, I don't see him, being a factor. But you've got Josh Bell is a guy that's available. Eric Hosmer, he's $13 million with 3 years remaining. Is, I don't know, second base. You got Colton Wong, but you got guys that can play second base with this club. I think Estrada's an everyday player, and I still think Isan Diaz is a guy that can come up and give you some good play. Shortstop, it's pretty loaded here. Trey Turner, Xander Bogaerts, Carlos Correa, because he's got an option. I think he signed just 1 year, or he's got an option. Yeah. Tim Anderson, the White Sox, we just saw him. Dansby Swanson. So there's guys right there. If you want to sign a guy for a few years and tell him he's going to play third base, because I don't think Longoria is coming back. He's got a $13 million club option with a $5 million buyout. They're going to buy that out. There's no way they're going to bring Longoria back.
Man, what a costly buyout that is. $5 million to get lost.
Yeah, but they took on Zach Cozart for $12 million just to get Will Wilson.
Oh, I know. I mean, how's that looking right now?
Yeah. So if you're going to eat $12 million, you can take $5 million and say goodbye, Evan. Take your beautiful wife and go back to Tampa.
How common is that in baseball? I'm jaded because of it's like, oh, John Wall has $35 million on the books. Let's just buy him out.
Guys get bought out, but it's generally, $5 million would be like a large buyout.
Really?
I mean, they're not gonna. It's either that or pay him $13 million. So which would you rather have? I mean, you're blocking.
Possibly, you can't trade him. So he's an untradeable guy.
You're blocking the potential of VR or going out and getting a shortstop and moving him to third base. Outfielders that are available. Aaron Judge is the big prize, and I don't think they'll probably go after that. But Mitch Haniger, he's a guy that could be had. What do you
think? What do you think? Well, I mean, there's a lot of good names there for sure. Nick Martinez says, for me, Kapler comes across too worried about his image and is not genuine. He spends too much time tanning. Who lives in San Francisco and is that tan without going to a tanning salon? Does Kapler fake bake?
Does he fake bake?
Maybe he lays on his balcony. I don't know.
Does he fake bake? Does he fake bake? Do he probably puts on a Speedo and those little goggles and lays in there?
Coconut oil and lays on his balcony?
I think I said it jokingly, but
does he go in the buff? Just straight. He doesn't want the tan lines.
I mean, you just go Mike Shanahan, have the bed in the house. But I honestly I said it jokingly like a month ago, but
Donovan says he tans nude.
Definitely,
dude. Have you seen the highlight of Shanahan
He's fake. Period. Jay Mela 13. He's fake. Period. Wow.
Have you seen the highlight of Mike Shanahan? Kyle Shanahan throwing the ball on the deck across the
in Capitol.
With on 4th of July from last year.
Yeah,
with Staley.
That's what we need with a Giants manager. Some excitement. I mean, come on. That is so cool. The guy's out there throwing a football and Staley's going, you're going to hit a kid. You're going to hit a kid. And Shanahan nails the target. I mean, it's like, Gabe's like he would never do that. He would.
I don't really have a read on this on Kapler. It's weird. Like, he's been our manager for 3 years now. I just don't have a read on the guy.
Well, in what way?
He's calculated. Everything's calculated.
I don't really know what he does. I don't know what he's good at. I don't know what made him a second time over manager in another major market. Is it just because he's a puppet and he's down to do whatever the analytics guy says and they know they won't get any pushback? Is he good at managing people? Does he cultivate good relationships within the organization? I don't know any of these things.
The one thing I'll give him credit for, he asked something innovative, which was to hire a lot of coaches. And I think that paid off last year because the players bought in and they said the coaches were prepping the players, helping the players.
Did they really buy in or did they have no choice?
I think
that's my question.
I think they bought in because they saw it was, I mean, you got to look at the years these guys were coming off of prior.
MF says Ron Wotus should be the replacement manager.
I thought about
what do you think of that?
I thought that yesterday. I thought, Wotus, man, he would be good.
Get back to what you were as an organization. Enough of the sideshow Bob stuff. Let's start to really grind.
Well, who's the pressure
are they putting in the reps? That would be my question. Are they putting in the reps? Are they putting in the reps before the game? If they are, that's one thing. If they're not, that's another. Is this team getting better? How hard do they work? How hard, is Gabe challenging the players, or is he, just trying to kind of win them over by kind of sucking up to them? I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
And you know what? Maybe this team right now, maybe at for large stretches of time, like last year, what he was doing was perfectly fine. But I just wish that he had a gear, or at least we knew, like, does he have a gear he can get to where he can, be straight up, not passive aggressive, and just get, be a little confrontational, talk to these guys. What are they feeling? What's hilarious also is like Belt with the whole captain thing last year. And it's like, bro, if we've ever needed a freaking captain, it's right now.
Yeah.
How about a little team only meeting at Belt? No.
I want to know what's Farhan. Did he get an extension from Larry Bear last year, or is he still he signed a 5-year deal, right? In 19.
Go look it up. Cox contracts.
Cox contracts?
Yeah. COTS contracts. Look it up. It'll say.
Is it Cox?
COTS
contracts.
COTS contracts, MLB contracts. Just Google it and then click on the Giants. It'll give you Farhan's information, then Gabe, then the players from the highest paid guy right on down the list. J Mela 13 donates $4.99. So J Mela, thanks for being in the chat. We appreciate you. And no question attached, just the super sticker to differentiate J Mela 13 from everybody else.
Very super.
Very, 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 very surprising. Not surprising. Very. What's the word we're
5
using?
years. Next year's is
very
last
distinguished.
Year.
What's that?
Next year's is last year. So
okay.
I mean, is the honeymoon over? Do they extend him, or do the? Because
I think I want to wait and see, man. I gotta see the way things go. I mean, things happen quickly. You can lose the room quickly. Once you lose the room, it's hard to get the room back. I think we saw that in Jim Harbaugh's final year with the 49ers.
This would have been Gabe's last year, but he got extended for next year in 24 after last season's.
Guys, I didn't want to say I didn't really want to say this because I wasn't sure if it was apples to apples, but that was the thought I had during this game today. Is I was like, I was trying to think of explanations, and I was like, it's got a little bit of Jim Harbaugh last year vibes, where maybe it's kind of run its course, where these guys are just kind of sick of the platooning and all that.
Platooning's driving me up the wall. I'll tell you what. I mean, I'm just tired.
But then that's what they got. By the way, Mercedes says, "Got to tan the old sausage."
Yeah.
Talk to Pasquale.
We grew up with the Sunday dinner.
There you go.
Okay, check this out. Listen to the Giants payroll. And I'm starting to wonder if Farhan was brought in to cut it, because in 2018, the year before he got here, they had a 200,000 payroll, and the 40-man the year in was 209. In every year after 19, it went down to the year end was, well, let's just go with the opening day. Year end was opening day 170. 2020 short year 61. 2021 149. This year 155. So
where do you think the Giants ought to be? I would say
200,000.
They should be
at least 200.
Well, to me, it's not a dollar total. It's more of a ranking within the game. I think they should be
top 7.
Yeah, I was going to say top 5. I was going to say a top 5 payroll team. First of all, top 7, that would be fine if they didn't have a stadium paid off.
Yeah,
but the stadium is paid off. Okay.
So
and you've got this Mission Rock project that's promising to produce more and more revenue, definitely long term. I would say the Giants, you got the Yankees, the Mets, the Dodgers, the Angels, the Red Sox. I would say somewhere between 5 to 8 in that range. They should be within 5 to 8 ranked in baseball. Where are they ranked right now?
13, 14.
13. Yeah, that's too low.
Where would I find that?
Too
same website or?
Yeah, you can just type in MLB payrolls 2022 on Spot Track, and it will tell you where they rank. I bet you it's like 10th or 11th, something like that. And that's too low.
Higher.
Really? You think it's higher than that?
I think it's 13.
I would say they should be.
I think it's 13.
Oh, you're saying it's lower than that?
I mean lower, yeah.
I'm saying they should, for this market and for their situation, they should be. They don't have to be top 5, but they should definitely be top 8.
Yeah, let me see. That's on Spot Track.
Spot Track, yeah. So I don't know. It's a tough thing because, these guys didn't become idiots overnight. But you know what? They didn't really prepare for this season the way I wanted to see them prepare. SC Baller 2187. Larry, congrats on the game, baby. Let's effing go. Be there Thursday. Fired up. Really excited.
Oh, I'm stoked. I'm going to be tuning in for sure. I looked up just for the sake of research. I looked up the Forbes. They do their list every year of the top franchise, most expensive franchises like in the world, and include all the soccer clubs and everything. Giants are 5th in terms of baseball franchises, and they're one behind the freaking Boston Celtics.
That's what the Giants are a rich team. They're very rich. I mean, they own their own stadium. It's paid off, and they paid it off years ahead of schedule. They're financially very. This is not the same Giants team that played at Candlestick Park. This Giants team, this Giants ownership group is set. They are fortified. They've been paid off on their investment and then some. There's all the risk to their financial investment is gone. They're going to make their investment back exponentially. So these people that come out of the woodwork trying to apologize for the lack of spending, it's like the joke's on you. Why would you apologize for somebody who's running a business who could spend a little bit more money and have momentum going forward, and instead is going to collect the profits, put it in their pocket, and lose that momentum and start to backslide? Because once you lose momentum, it's really hard to regain it.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where they're at right now.
They're 13th, and their value
13th in payroll. And what'd you say they were, Ryan, as far as value?
They're 5th in baseball, 28th overall.
To me, you should be similar to where you are, and value should be about where your payroll is. They should be top 5, top 7 in payroll, and they're 13th.
And it says
pocketing that money, and they deserve what they get.
Here's the teams ahead of them.
Dan, wait 1 second. The last 5 years, their valuation has gone up 41%. So, and then
what's the estimated value? What's the estimated value of the franchise?
$3.18 billion, and let me read
$3 billion. They bought it for $450 million.
And listen to the teams after them: the Las Vegas Raiders. After this is with the
an NFL team
that has
worth more than an NFL team.
Seattle,
brand new stadium.
Seattle Seahawks, Green Bay Packers, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, Minnesota Vikings, Miami Dolphins, Falcons, Colts, Arsenal, Clippers, Brooklyn Nets. LA
Premiership.
I'm trying to just find the next baseball team. I'm going.
These are the teams below them.
Yeah. So okay, the
Who's
next
above them?
baseball team down is the New York Jets at 47.
Who's above them? The Warriors.
The Warriors are like
The
4.
Warriors, the Cowboys, the Patriots, the 49ers, Manchester U, right? Who else?
It's like one of those memes that's like one of these is not like the others. Like here, let me just read the 1 through 28. Cowboys, then Yankees, Knicks, FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, New England Patriots, New York Giants, Bayern Munich, Manchester United, Liverpool, Rams, Man City, 49ers, Dodgers, Jets, Bears, Washington football team, Red Sox, Eagles, Cubs, Texans, Bulls, Broncos, Celtics, Chelsea, Giants.
Well, that
Those
explains
are all monstrous freaking.
Where did you have where were the Warriors? Like 5th?
They were 5th.
Now you know why Cyrus Sates is so upset that they didn't sign GP2.
Big time Timmy Jim. They're a real estate empire. That's not an overstatement. That's the truth. They're absolutely, So I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's funny. People used to bitch and complain about George Steinbrenner. And what did George Steinbrenner do? It's like if you just took the name Steinbrenner out of it and said, what would you say about an owner whose franchise made a ridiculous amount of revenue and that they reinvested that revenue into the product? You'd say that's a good owner. If I said to you, I have a restaurant and it's minting me money, but I'm taking my profits and I'm reinvesting them into the restaurant, you would say, hey, you're a smart man, smart businessman. But no, in baseball, Steinbrenner was like, what? He's spending what? He invested in the product. Now, if I told you, hey, I've got a business and it's producing a crazy record amount of revenue. And so what are you doing with that revenue? I'm putting that in my pocket and I'm operating at a lower, price point, trying to get the same thing done. It's like, well, I mean, you're skimming off the top and ultimately you're going to get what's coming to you. You know what I mean? It's a very competitive endeavor. So I didn't like the game plan this year. I mean, you won 107 games last year. You lost Posey and Chris Bryant, and you replaced them with Papirski and nothing.
Got his first home run by the way tonight, Chris Bryant.
Padall, what was the guy's name? Padall, what was the guy? The disaster third baseman? Padlo and Papirski for Bryant and Posey. And you're sitting here in the middle of the year and you're in a free fall.
One game over 500
and your team's worth billions, and you pocketed a lot of the revenue.
Yeah, here's the teams.
So the joke's on you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The joke's on you. And nobody should feel sorry for these guys. Nobody should be saying they're great businessmen. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're pocketing profits. They're pocketing profits and crossing their fingers and won't burn them. And guess what? They're getting burned. Now people are starting to figure it out.
The fact that they're worth more than like 75 to 80% of NFL franchises. Actually,
and
more.
Everybody's framing everybody else. Everybody's hiding behind everybody else. If you talk to the owners, they'll say Farhan feels like we're spending enough money. If you talk to Farhan, he'll say I've got plenty of money to build. My financial constraints are nothing. So either somebody's lying. Somebody's not giving us 100% of the truth. Either the owners have given Farhan a stringent budget and he's covering their ass by saying that he's got enough money, or he's not all that great at his gig. And he's got money to spend, but is trying to impress them by not spending it.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't imagine that the latter is the situation. It's got to be the former. It's got to be the ownership group said, "Hey, we don't want to spend more than whatever." What did you say they're spending this year? 150.
They're spending 155. Here's
and they
the
had
top.
spent 200. They're spending 30 to $50 million less than they had spent in previous seasons.
Here's the total payroll and this counts your injured reserve and everything. So the Dodgers are at 261 million, but that's 35 million of that is Trevor Bauer. And then the Mets are right behind them at 260. The Yankees 250, Phillies 234, San Diego 218, Boston just under 203, the White Sox 195, the Angels 190, Atlanta 179, Houston 175, Toronto 172, St. Louis 160, and then the Giants 155, and then the Cubs right behind them at 150. Now, if you look at everybody in that top 12 above the Giants, they're all pretty much in the playoffs except the Angels and the White Sox. The Phillies are right there, them in St. Louis, but it fits the payroll. The payroll tells you if you're going to make the playoffs or not for the most part. I mean, Tampa Bay's not in there. They're in the playoffs, and they're way down at 87,000. But what do they do differently? They develop their players. They have guys that keep coming up from their system. Why don't the Giants – when's the last real prospect the Giants have had? And yet the Tampa Bay continues to put guys out. I mean, they traded Willie Adames to Milwaukee because they had Wander Franco. I mean, it's like the Giants have nothing, and we've been hearing Ramos for years, and it's the time is now, and he appears he's not ready, or otherwise he'd be up. And then
Callie Hat says Hunter Pence was great tonight.
He was great tonight. I liked his energy. That cheek call was pretty hilarious.
How about Hunter Pence as a manager? Now, how would that be?
I think I want somewhere in between the two.
Come on, guys!
I could go for Dan
Coccimilgio. Dan Coccimilgio.
Hey, Coach Emilio.
Coach, yeah, okay, Coach.
What would
Coach,
you do? You'd be turning over spreads left and right.
I'd be turning spreads over, and
there'd be more to Della stuck on the wall.
I wouldn't
be
doing a lot of this platooning crap. I would let my best players play until they proved they couldn't.
Guys would be like, here comes Coach Emilio. You better get a bologna sandwich before he dumps it against the wall.
And how about that 8th inning? 2 strikes on Rojas, and he shows bunt and pulls the bat back. So he's obviously thinking bunt. And do the Giants adjust? No adjustment. No adjustment.
No thanks.
Rich Aurelia called them out in the postgame on that. I saw that.
I mean, it's like,
seriously, the guy's showing a bunt. What makes you think he may bunt? He's showing bunt.
And you did nothing to change it. So he's nothing. Like, he already knows it. Like, well, if they're not going to move, I'm going to do it again.
I saw that. Do you guys have the volume on for the most of the game? Because it was really just disturbing.
I had the Diamondbacks announcers.
Oh, so. Okay. Well, Dan, in the 8th inning, they were talking about how they just kept throwing it over to first base, they just kept throwing it over, and Pence was like, you know what? They're treating this game like a playoff game. This is just what you love to see in baseball. You're on a long losing streak like this. You got to treat this game like a playoff game. And it's like, meanwhile, you just allowed the freaking bunt after the guy was showing bunt, and then you just go on to just absolutely blow the game.
I think that was he's the guy that got the bunt that they were throwing over. Yeah.
A bit of compensation.
And then they had him picked off if Leon would have seen it. I mean, that place
that was bad too.
You could hear a pin drop in that place. The first baseman's got to be yelling, pick, 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 pick.
Yeah. Whatever the opposite of the chemistry Draymond and Steph have, that's like our entire infield right now.
Well, they got different guys out there every stinking night, and they.
I thought for sure Duvall was not going to get to the base in time. I was like, we've seen this before. He ended up getting there, but
you got
it's a struggle.
You got guys that.
We're essentially heroes for
playing
watching them.
They didn't have any kind of spring training, and then you got guys that aren't even in your organization that are getting called up, getting traded for, and then they're up on the big league club, and then they're here for a couple days, and then they're back down, and there's just no consistency whatsoever. That's why I want to see VR. I said, I don't want to see a cameo appearance. We've had enough cameo appearances. Play the guy
by the guy.
and see what he can do.
Are you a fan of Cameo? Are you a fan of Cameo?
No. I'm just like the
What about
Cameo
VR?
appearances have just ticked me off
I
because
think he's created a whole new thing.
Danny, it might be time for Danny to sign up on Cameo.
Yeah.
How much would you charge on Cameo?
I don't even know what the heck Cameo is. I'm not no
It's
social
just a way
media.
to supplement your losses on the tickets.
SecureMoney.com on the web, or check me out on Cameo.
Man who once spoke to David VR's stepmother.
Seriously, Dan, you ought to put yourself on Cameo and charge like $300, like $300.
Like as you go up in tiers, that's how much louder and more engaged you'll be with your Monster Slam. You
Seriously,
different Monster Slam.
I'll have to get my agent Rye to help me out there.
You need to get on Cameo and start wishing people happy birthday. Hey, what about this one? Vogelsong for manager, so you can throw bowls of cereal.
You know who I wouldn't mind seeing as a manager? I don't know if he'd do it, but I would love to see a guy like
David Villar's stepfather.
No, his dad. It's a stepmother.
Oh, stepmother. Okay, sorry.
No, I would like to see former third base coach Tim Flannery. I think he'd
the Flan man. You want the Flan
man? I think he'd have some passion. I mean, how
about just give Wotus the job that he should have had in the first place?
Facts.
Yeah,
Seriously, what does Wotus have to do to be the manager? He's super respected. He's got all the rings. Are you telling me what if he couldn't manicure a beard and fake bake his way to a better look? Give it to Wotus. Stop playing games.
Here's the problem, and I knew this is why Boch was, retiring. He's not going to be set there. I mean, Boch
get a beer.
Boch,
he's barbecuing on his Traeger.
Yeah,
once you got a Traeger, why would you want to manage?
He would have loved to continue to manage, but he didn't want to manage under this particular regime and be told how to manage his club. Okay, you got your card. You need to take this guy out and put this guy in. This is what the geeks who never stepped foot on a baseball diamond are telling us what we need to do. Because you know that the analytics geeks up there are the ones that are putting
it is backwards, isn't it? I mean, it's like, let's get Boch the hell out of here because maybe we'll use our analytics, and maybe if we make every right decision, we'll be as good using these analytics as he was without them. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just so bizarre. I mean, the whole thing's it's such a controlling thing too. It's like, I'm all for analytics and using all the information. And I understand
what's going to happen with these geeks,
but where's the feel? The one thing that I get a sense watching Kapler is there's not a lot of feel there. Like I get the sense he doesn't want to say certain things because he might be wrong. Like his feel doesn't seem right. Like he's not really sure of himself on some of these things. He goes out to talk to the umps, and it's like he's feeling them out. It's like he doesn't want to complain. It's like he's not sure if he's on the right side of the argument or not. It's like I want to see somebody who damn well knows that they're on the right side of the argument and they're out there to be heard. He just seems, I don't know. I mean, I would love to know how. I think in my mind, Kapler seems like the kind of guy that would wear like S. Like he's just constantly looking for little micro advantages, and he's just micro. Where Boch was more of the macro. Like I'm managing this thing for the long haul, and then Cap has a little bit of that, but it's like he made decisions based on like how he put the club together. I get it. You had Darren Ruff on the club to bat in key situations late innings against left-handed pitching, but now he's having a nightmarish first half, and you got Jock Peterson having an incredible first half. And does Gabe make the adjustment? No, he doesn't. So he just keeps running these lefty righty games because he decided in February or March that this was how he wanted. This is what he wanted from his club. But he's like ignoring what's going on in front of his face. And so it's weird. It's like and I just kind of wonder if the players are just kind of like, all right, I'm a little tuned out now.
I agree.
Last year they all had banner years, but man, they've all and you know what? Here's the other thing too. If we have all these geniuses everywhere, couldn't one of them say, hey guys, We have 5 veterans on this team who all had career years. I'm not an analytics genius, but odds are those guys come back to earth. Instead, their thought process was, no, we're going to stay with all 5 of these veteran guys and they're going to be better again. Why? Because we want them to be. I mean, I didn't see, why was Crawford going to be good this year? Why was Longoria going to be good this year? Why was Belt going to be good this year? Why were these players who had kind of bounced back almost borderline career years in their mid-30s, why were they going to get better? I mean, like, I want to believe these coaches and these front office people are smart, but it's hard to believe they're really smart when it was pretty obvious that those veteran players were going to regress and go back to, they were going to fall back. And where was the move that was made to kind of take that into account? And I don't see that move at all. I see a team that kind of leaned on what they did last year and just kind of assumed that it was going to happen again.
I'll tell you what.
Why were you gonna? Why was that? That wasn't based in logic, and now we're seeing it kind of come home to roost.
I'll tell you what. The best thing that can happen is when baseball gets rid of the shift, and they got guys that are no longer doing this shift. Get rid of these pencil neck geek squad guys that are up there calling all the shots for baseball because they've never even took a. They need to go up there in the batting cage and take a fastball in the ribs before they get a job. That's what I'm saying. You want to tell these major leaguers where they need to position themselves and all this. Get up there in the cage and take one under the chin. Let's see what you got, because I'm telling you, these non-athlete guys that are running baseball is unbelievable. It's just like, I want to see. You
want to see guys take fastballs to the face? Is that what you're just saying?
No, to the rib. Not the rib. How about
you said to the chin a second ago?
Under the chin. I don't want to see anybody get hit in the head. No.
I mean, realmoney.com on the web. I mean, Danny says throw up their heads, and if you can't take one in the chin, then screw you. You're soft.
I mean, are you guys telling me that the team wouldn't rally behind Kapler if he just grew out a mangy beard and added a beer belly? Like that would fire me up. I'd play for that guy. Because right now, I mean, it's like, honestly, it's stupid and cliche, but when you look at like football coaches, like I don't really want my football coach to be the guy who's in the best shape with the most manicured everything. Like,
give me Andy Reid and his man boobs. Give me a good coach with some great game, a great play caller with moobs. Man boobs.
Gabe walk out tonight, and he had this black shirt on, and then underneath this long sleeve, and then his jersey was a vest. It was like one of those guys that, you're out there in the construction zone. It just matched the Giants. It was a little vest that he was wearing. I'm like, what is that? Is that like stylish or what? I mean, give me, I want to get some Don Zimmer out there. Like you said, the big giant beer belly running out there.
It's like Bochy. You can tell the man played. He's massive, but you know what? He's got it. He's still.
Here's an interesting statistic.
Why couldn't you go with Wotus? I mean, let's lay this out there. I mean, are you telling me that Wotus couldn't do the job? I mean, what? I just always I felt like Wotus got passed over and several times, and he probably, he's a good organizational man, but I mean, come on.
Changed now. They're going to guys that are taking direction from the front office. All those cards, you think the coaching staff puts those cards together? No, they're getting those stats from the analytics, and then they're analytics.
I mean, I get it. Believe me, I get it. I understand. Hey, we're going to invest all these man hours in coming up with all these great analytics. We want to bring our analytics to the field, and we want to see it used consistently. I get it. But you're paying your manager, a sizable amount of money. You're paying your coaches a sizable amount of money. Don't you want to take their expertise into account? Don't you want to utilize them and lean on them a little bit? Yeah. I mean, if we're just going to play lefty righty games, then why not just have Brandon Belt be the manager?
If we're put the captain's hat on and let's.
Yeah, I mean, if it's just hey, they got a lefty, we're going righty. They got a righty, we're going with a lefty. I mean, if you're just going to play the lefty righty matchup, I mean, we're seeing Kapler play lefty righty games even when the numbers indicate otherwise. So, it's
start platooning managers, honestly.
What's that?
I think we should start platooning managers.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, yeah. No, seriously though, if they do away with the shift, then what are you going to do with all those analytics things that guys tell you where to position and play? Because that's going to be dictated by, you're not going to have three guys on one side of the field. You're going to have to play only two, and they're going to have to be in the dirt. They're not going to be able to play that second baseman in shallow right field anymore. You're going to have to be on the edge of the dirt. And so all that's going to change. It's going to change the way a lot of these guys that have jobs that, they calculate the last 100 balls hit and play, where do they go? And then they put them in these percentages. Okay, 69% went in this little box.
Nice.
Another 20% went in this box. And so that's where they put the guys, But if that shift is gone, then these guys.
DJ Vinus says Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill had more success at Moneyball than the Oakland A's. It's funny, that movie was on the other day, and I'm watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, the whole crux behind this is that Billy Beane wanted to play Scott Hatteberg over Carlos Pena. And I mean, I would say you get 100 baseball people in the room, they'd tell you Carlos Pena is a better player than Scott Hatteberg. Doesn't that seem like a weird thing to, could you imagine an entire movie based on, you should have played Damian Lee over, who's the Warriors' other two guard backup?
Brad Wanamaker. I don't know.
Just Poole? Take another, Jordan Poole. Like, let's say Jordan Poole before this year. Yeah, he wanted to play Jordan Poole, and we decided that we were going to play this guy.
Otto Porter over Kelly Oubre.
It's just like some nondescript. You did a whole movie on that. Scott Hatteberg over Carlos Pena. Really? It's amazing that people thought Billy was a genius for, Scott Hatteberg over Carlos Pena.
Mum's the word on the two MVP candidates, mashing over 30 home runs. And
it is a rarity in sports that teams that spend little win it all. It happens. It's an anomaly when it happens, but overall, the teams with the highest payrolls are generally the best teams in sports. And we're not saying
who had the best payroll in the NBA?
Warriors.
There you go.
We're not saying that the Giants need to be the top. We said they should be a top 5 to 7 team.
Stephen Chase is parking 70 bones. I'm not being patient. Is that true? 70? 70 for parking?
70? Wow, it depends on where you park.
You'd be better off just handing the keys to somebody on the street and just hoping they don't steal it. Look, the game's going to be about 3 hours long. Why don't you just drive around for a little bit? Can you be out here a little bit later on? Just take a chance, right? Yeah, just roll the dice.
Take a chance. $20 in gas versus 70 in parking.
Do you have insurance? No, but are you going to drive local? You're not getting on the freeway, right? You're just going to be popping around town. Yeah. Could you make sure? I've got leather interior. It's not cloth, so be real nice on the interior. Try not to pick up too many people, but yeah, if you can be around here around 10, 15, here's 50. I'm going to save $20 and just cross my fingers.
But please go smoking. If you want to vape, fine.
Yeah, I got a camera in the car, so I could probably get something from the insurance company if you did steal it. But could you not steal it? Because I'd like to get home tonight. So if you could just stop by, it's a 6:45 start. I'm thinking roll back around 10:15. I'll be here eating a churro on the corner. It's like, why not? $70 to park? My God.
Oh, man. You can get tickets. You can get in the game. You could walk up to the game and get in for like $25 for a pair of two,
my goodness, 70? Not just an outrageous amount. I'd rather have 4 crab sandwiches on layaway than go 70 to park.
There you go. 4 on layaway.
I got monthly installments on my crab sandwiches, or I could park. Which one? I'm thinking of one or the other. The team scored one goddamn run. I can't recognize anybody in the lineup if they walked in here. Autograph day is like a threat. If anything, it's like it's absolutely, you're getting zero out of autograph day. The only people who go to autograph day are like under 5 because everybody else knows that the players have no name recognition. Only a 5-year-old will be excited about these autographs.
Yeah,
I got Pavlo, dude. You got Pavlo? I got Fairchild.
I got Sam Walton. Oh no, that's the Walmart
dude,
guy.
I got Donnie 3 Fairchilds. I got 3 Fairchilds.
Seriously, Jimmy Kimmel could do a bit where he comes to Giants Fan Fest and just stalks the whole thing with just random people that work at his office and just throw jerseys on them.
Tell you how bad it is for even the announcers. The other day, Walton was playing short and was watching the game. It was one of the games against the White Sox, and it says grounded short. Luke Walton throws him out.
Luke Walton. He said Luke Walton.
He said Luke Walton.
That is awesome. That's why I love Kai.
He didn't even catch it. He didn't even.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He caught it. He doesn't care. That is awesome. Yeah, just call everybody Ted Johnson. In left field, it's Ted Johnson. It's like Major League the movie was on. Who are these effing guys?
Bob Krueger here.
The guy breaks into Rene Russo's apartment and she's having a dinner party, and the woman's like, "Oh, you play for the Cleveland Indians? I didn't even know we still had a team."
Hey,
like, we got uniforms and everything.
Hey, speaking of. What was the guy's name? Willie Mays Hayes? Is that what it was?
Willie Mays Hayes?
Yeah, he kind of looks like who looks like him?
He runs like Mays, gets like shit or something like that.
Keegan Bryant of the Pirates kind of resembles Willie Mays.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Willie Mays Hayes to the back. Yeah, just a bit.
He starts doing push-ups.
Maybe that's what the Giants need, is one of those guys to come in and
Tom Berenger. He gets a call from his buddies. He thinks his buddy's putting him on. He's in the Mexican League. He's drunk on tequila. He's laying on a bed. He answers the phone. He's like, guy's like, "Hey, we need you to show up for spring training." And this is the one I used to throw on Tommy all the time. "Is that you, Tolbert?" That's Tom Berenger. That movie was awesome.
Bots in the chat here. The porn.
Yep.
Block those guys.
I also love Randy Quaid in those. As the fan who's banging the drum in the outfield.
Yeah.
And he's like, "I thought it was too high." He goes, "Oh, that was a home run." He's like, "I thought it was too high." "What do you mean too high?" Oh man, that was awesome.
I would like to see kind of. I just don't know what's going on with the way baseball is. You've got guys that are getting the managing positions now that are pretty much guys that are going to follow I think that's what's happening in the game, is guys that are just going to follow the analytics. And, I don't know. Bob Melvin, he seems like one of the older guys.
Let's do this. We're beating a dead horse here. And I'm getting bored. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's take a timeout. We got 20 minutes left till midnight. We've been going for almost 2 hours here. We'll pay the bills. We'll come back. We'll switch gears. We'll talk a little KD. We'll talk about some other things. How about that?
Little Chet Holmgren.
Little Chet Holmgren, who looked great tonight, by the way. Carl Foster told us that Chet Holmgren was the real deal, and man, he looks like the real deal. All right, first, a word from our sponsors on the Krueg Show.
Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use Telmetrics.co, Telmetrix.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimilgio. Dan Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number, 925-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Tony Cassera and the good people at Cassera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Cassera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com, often imitated, never equaled. And they are a proud sponsor of the Krueg Show. Thanks to them as well.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet, you know, and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh, no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, you know, that life is good.
Hi, welcome back to the Krueg Show. Larry Krueger, Ryan Smith, Dan Coccimilgio eating cereal on the bottom of the screen there. Danny, what are we chewing on tonight? A little corn puffs, a little kashi. You're very faithful to kashi. I've noticed that.
And then we got the we add a little bit of sugar.
No, yeah, because that's exactly what that needs is more sugar.
Yeah, this doesn't have a lot of sugar. This is organic.
Diabetes in a box right there.
Just get the healthy cereal and just completely make it
ruin it with some little bit of sugar. Yeah, exactly.
Here we go. Kyle McKiernan says, dude, it's 11:40 p.m. and I'm getting up to piss. And my wife's wondering why the hell I'm laughing in the bathroom down the hall. And he goes on to say, easy answer. I'm listening to Larry again. Thank you, Kyle. Thanks for the imagery, by the way. As now we know what you're doing while you're listening to the show.
Was that during the sausage commercial?
I think it was just before. Mercedes, BMW, Porsches never steal Joe Boo's rum. That was from Major League. That's awesome. Can Pasquale turn a double play? Well,
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Yeah, that's all we can say about that. What else do we have from the chats? Can Pasquale manage on Sunday night games? That's a great question.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Okay, so I'm not sure. A lot of Pasquale references here. Then we'll get this one. Gonzo Shitsock says that was Carbone. Yes, thank you.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
All right. What else? Wait a second. Another Pasquale one here. Pasquale was in Goodfellas, right? Hanging in the freezer at the end. Yes, Pasquale was from
We
Goodfellas.
grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Pasquale's getting overtime tonight.
Pasquale's great. And I'll thank you to all the good people at New York Style Italian Sausage. I made some. So, guys, first of all, I didn't even mention this to you guys. Great weekend, right? We had 4th of July. Went up, saw my brother, the judge. Blew up a bunch of stuff in Thomas. I mean, it's amazing. It's like Baghdad there. I mean, stuff is just blowing up left and right. I mean, it's amazing. Contra Costa County, there's like nothing. If you've got a sparkler in your driveway, I mean, a couple of black. Here come the black and whites, and you're going to jail. In the Thomas, I mean, you bottle rockets, bring it on. You got a ball of fire that's going to float into the sky. Bring it on. It's amazing to me how many people have like high grade fireworks, like the kind of fireworks that you can shoot them like, let's say, hundreds of feet into the air. We have the Red Devil or whatever it's called, TNT, that benefits the school, the fountains, maybe my brother spent like $100 on some fountain that was just ridiculous. I mean, it was like went on for like 9 minutes. I mean, it was like, I felt like I was listening to Stairway to Heaven or something, it was just like going on and on and on and on, but it was a good time. But I made with the New York Style Italian Sausage. See how I come full circle. You see how I did that? You see how I came?
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Okay, so what I did was I used the New York Style Italian Sausage, the Italian mild, and I got it in the roll. So it's not in the casing. I just got it in the roll. So I made stuffed mushrooms. Oof. Oh my God, they were so freaking good.
Portobello.
They were just regular white mushrooms. I had to carve them out a little bit, right?
Ringo.
Yeah.
And then it was Italian sausage, panko breadcrumbs, scallions, garlic, mascarpone cheese, melted, parsley.
You didn't invite us, man.
Oh my God. I mean, I seriously, I'm sitting there. Like when you bring something to somebody's house, but you like it so much that you wind up eating most of it.
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. You bring like 40 mushrooms over and you eat like 20 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I felt like that was me yesterday at my brother's. But did you guys have a good weekend? How was your 4th?
Geez, mine was at the Giants game.
Oh my God. Yeah. Danny FaceTimed me while I was, partaking in some drinks. And he was like, because you just sent me that awesome video of you like encouraging David VR before his first AB. And then you're like, I think I'm going to like find him for an interview. And I was like, oh, that sounds sick. Like, awesome.
Yeah. I was right in front of him. I was like literally first row. And I went up and I'm just yelling at him. I go, hey, VR, you got this. Welcome.
Danny stalked VR's parents.
Congratulations. And then the first pitch, he just
did they look at all at any point? When did they look at you and kind of were like a little scared? Because you're, maybe at first you're kind of unassuming, but then once they found out you were with the media and that you were trying to press for an interview, at what point did you say, I mean, how did it all end? Is there, can you reenact the dialogue that caused you to walk away without an interview? Was it like, get out of here, I'm going to call an usher?
No, he told me right up front. He just said, hey,
get the hell out of here.
Informed, I'll talk to you, but nothing on camera. He just said nothing on camera. Yeah. So.
And how long before you left? Were you there for an inning? Was it a half inning?
No, it was.
Were there people behind
innings.
saying kneel down? Could you bend down? Could you kneel down?
No, I was sitting right next to him, just in an open seat, and it was between innings. And then I just said, "Hey, look, I'm not going to keep you. I would let you get going here. Enjoy your son.
Let you get going. They're at a baseball game.
I says I'm going to get going. I'm going to let you enjoy your son, but just talk to him for like maybe 2 minutes, really, really quick. Just wanted to kind of find out about the phone call he got, how excited he was, and just what was the emotions he was feeling as he got a chance to see his son.
Did you bring up anything about like Padlo or Vossler?
Oh, no, he didn't.
Did you complain about the defense at all?
No.
Did you say I'm the guy from the Monster Slam and do a reenactment of the Monster Slam call?
Screamed it.
Wait a second. Do we have the reenactment? Let's hear the reenactment. For those of you who maybe are new to the Krueg show, the man on the bottom here, Dan Coccimilgio, we let him do play-by-play a few weeks back, and this is the nugget that play-by-play produced.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam. No, they're calling it an offensive foul.
No way.
Oh, man. It's too bad there's nothing to get excited about with the baseball season right now. I can't even I mean, what can I call?
Dustin the Gale donates $4.99. He says, I've been on vacation for a week and I come back and they're 10.5 games back. In your guys' opinion, is the season over? No, because there's three wild card teams in the National League. Right. So you have an extra wild card team. They would normally probably be kind of dead, but let's check the wild card standings as we speak. Braves are the leader, Padres are the second, Phillies are the third, tied with the Cardinals, and the Giants are 2 games back. So Marlins are 3 back. So basically,
Miami's catching up now.
It's a Miami, Giants, Cardinals, Phillies, Padres, Braves, all battling for 3 spots. So Braves are going to get one. Padres are going to get one. So it really comes down to Marlins, Giants, Cardinals, Phillies for 1 spot.
Yep. Marlins.
What makes it worse is the Padres have lost 2 out of their, or they've lost 8 out of their last 10. So we really could have gained some ground.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, a lot's going to happen. Depend on what kind of moves are made here at the end of the month. A trade deadline's actually August 2nd. So
Anonymous is, Dan, did you tell Villar's father that you were a bigger fan of Papirski?
He did thank us. I did say I've been on the show.
He thanked you after you left.
I've been promoting your son's call up. I said, we've been talking about.
Did you try to take credit for the call up at any point? I've put a lot of pressure on management for my dialogue on this YouTube post-game show. And you would have been great if you had said to the Villar family, you know the reason you're here. It's me, Dan Coccimilgio.
It's all
if I had just shut my trap, you'd still be down in you'd be at a River Cats game right now. But because I just keep talking and talking and talking on the Krueg show about Villar.
Villar, Gonzalez says, I'm the one that spotted the talent.
Look at you. Look at you.
Did you call him Mr. Villar or Mr. VR?
VR.
Okay.
Look at you.
VR.
Did you say call me Coach Emilio or just call me Coach?
Call me Dan.
Call
me DC. Call me DC.
Monster Slam, and I'm going to call your son's first home run of his career.
A couple weekend notes I thought were kind of interesting that I caught up with. One, the whole, KD thing. First of all, Serge Ibaka went back to the Bucks. I know there are a lot of people saying, maybe Serge Ibaka. I love how Cy is just losing his mind against the Warriors now. And like a couple of weeks ago, people were like, Cy, you're the biggest freaking Warrior homer. And now they're like, he's getting like death threats and like people are mad because he's like turned on the Warriors and people are. They won a title a couple weeks ago, and you're saying their offseason's a disaster. Hey, look, Cy's nobody's fool, and he's got his own opinion. And, wait a second. DJ says, did I miss the Pasquale ad? DJ, where were you?
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
All right, there you go. Well, you're gonna have to wait till tomorrow night for the rest. But yes, you missed Pasquale yet. But Cy's just passionate about the fact that they effed up by not re-signing GP2, and that he thinks they're cheap and this and that. And then everybody's weighing in on the KD stuff. Mark Spears went on ESPN over the weekend and said that the Warriors are considering KD. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that before we, call it a night. To me, it's not about I liked this year more than the final year with KD. And if you trade for Durant, there's no question that you're going to win the title next year, I think, unless you have a significant injury. So it's hard not to just say, yeah, do what you got to do to get him. But I was listening to Damon and Ratto today break it down. Do you see how I dropped that in there? Do you see how I dropped that in there?
Yeah, 95-7 the game.
I was driving around today listening to Damon and Ratto.
And 95-7 the game.
And so, but they were saying basically Damon threw out this trade, and Ratto's like, oh, you're going to have to trade more than that. And it was like, wait a second. Let's talk about this for a second. If I could get KD on the Warriors and I could trade Wiggins and Moody and a pick, I'm doing it. But I'm not trading. I'm not trading James Wiseman for a 33-year-old Kevin Durant when I'm the defending champion and he's looking for a new home. And they're up against a wall with no leverage. And I'm sure as hell not trading Jonathan Kuminga. And I'm sure as hell not trading Jordan Poole. And I'm sure as hell not trading all of them. And this idea that the Warriors would somehow consider trading all of these guys, or at least, I don't care. I realize KD's good. KD's 33. Hey, he's already blown out an Achilles. There's no way I'm making that trade.
That trade he proposed, Mark Spears, he said Wiggins, Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody.
I've already hung up the phone.
They can't even trade Wiggins unless they got a third team involved to take Ben Simmons because of the whole.
I wouldn't trade any of those. I would trade Wiggins, and I would trade Moody. Yep. But I'm not trading you Wiseman or Poole or Kuminga. He's 33. How many years do basketball players play?
Right. I would do the Wiggins and Moody, and if it took 3 or 4 more future picks, but I'm not trading Kuminga, Poole, or Wiseman, because that's your foundation for the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've come off it. My prediction was the Suns, and I still feel that if it gets done, it's with the Suns. But I now think that the Gobert thing, I think they kind of got bulky the way Bulky overpaid for Christian. What was the
receiver Christian Kirk?
Christian Kirk. I think that I think it's over now because the Gobert went for essentially like 6 first-round picks. I think he just 5, but if you include Walker Kessler, that
was 4 picks. It was 4 ones and Kessler.
4 ones, Kessler, and then I think a swap. Either way, it's just a shockingly, and plus all the players they gave up good players. So I think they just screwed up the market, because if Gobert's worth that, then what the hell is KD worth with 4 years left on his deal? So now it's to a point where they can no longer. Nobody has the package outside of the Warriors and the Pelicans. And the Suns certainly don't have the package. And
yes,
if I'm the Nets owner,
it's also about KD, right? Isn't KD? KD's going to get to call. This is the NBA. The players call the shots. If he says he doesn't have a no trade, but essentially he does, because he's Kevin Durant. And nobody's going to trade the kind of assets it's going to take to acquire him if he's not all in. So he can basically say, "Hey, I want to play for the Warriors," and then it's just Sean Marks can make the best deal he can possibly make with the Warriors, and that's it. I think, I don't know. I look at this as KD holds all the cards. Now, I've had people push back and say, no, they're not going to just trade him anywhere he wants. That they're going to push back on him. But I don't know about that. Unless there are multiple teams that he's cool with, I think he goes where he wants to go. Now, according to Mark Spears, Bob Myers called the Nets expressing interest in Durant. And from what I'm hearing here is that Lakeup would like Durant. We'll see. It sounds like
this. Would you trade if it was one's involved and a player would and Green was involved? Would you do that? Green,
yeah.
and some ones and maybe Moody.
Yeah. First of all, I don't think that gets it done, but I wouldn't. I'm not. I don't. Draymond Green is. I'm going to the finish line with Draymond Green. I'm going to the finish line with Steph, Clay, and Draymond. That's how I feel about it.
You're gonna extend Clay and Draymond. I think they're due for extensions later this summer.
Yeah, I would, but I would. I try to do it. I try to do it. What's that?
They still got 2 years left. You're gonna extend them beyond that. Now you're strapping yourself.
Well, I don't know if I would extend him until the deal ran out, but I would try to give him a deal where it was less and less, instead of escalating, a de-escalator, in the deal.
I don't think after three years from now, Draymond's 35, 36. I don't know. What is he? 32?
Which is all the more reason you should be able to retain him and for a reasonable amount.
Send him for a reasonable amount. Also, just cleaning up the Gobert trade. So it's a 2023 first round pick, a 2025 first round pick, a 2026 pick swap, a 27 first round pick, and a 29 first round pick. And that's the only one that's protected. And that's only top 5 protected. So essentially 6 first round picks plus Walker Kessler, who was a first round pick, plus Jared Vanderbilt, who looked awesome in the playoffs versus the Grizzlies. Malik Beasley looked awesome. Patrick Beverley was still a big part of shutting down Morant. So just a crap ton to give up. And now I just don't see how you, if you're the Nets, their owner has to be I think he just needs to get in a room with Kevin Durant and Kevin Durant's guy. What I forget his name.
You mean
Joe Tsai?
Rich Kleiman?
Get a room with Rich Kleiman, Kevin Durant, and Joe Tsai, and just say, look, We're open to trading you, but unfortunately, there's nothing out there. There's no deals that are going to line up with us getting what we need back and you going where you want. So let's figure this out. We have flexibility. Actually, if you look at their roster from top to bottom with the signings, getting TJ Warren and with Ben on paper,
Joe Harris will be back, and he's a great shooter.
Yeah, Seth Curry. They have a team. They've got a squad. Patty Mills coming back. They just have
the only place he knows he could have a title is here.
For sure. Either here or the Suns, which is why I think the Suns would be in play, but I don't think they have the assets.
How much, though, do the Suns have to give up, and would they be as good?
Well, it's not how much. It's would the Nets take Ayton? And maybe the Nets don't want Ayton. That's the thing. And if Ayton's not part of that deal, there's no deal. It's like with the Warriors. It would be like if nobody wanted Wiggins. Well, then there's no deal because Wiggins has to be included in the deal from the Warrior perspective to accommodate KD's salary. So, it's a deal breaker.
If I'm the Nets, though, I look at KD and say, look, we signed you for 4 years. We paid you a full year when we knew that you were sitting out. You were coming off Achilles surgery. We took the chance believing that you were going to be the same player that you were before the injury. We got 4 years left. We'd like to run it to the finish with you. At least another year. Give us another year. Give us your best.
I'll play KD. No, I want to be traded. Now what?
Now, all right, KD, you want to wait?
Danny's immediately thwarted. He's like, oh, okay, that's gone. Now I got to go plan B. Because that is the NBA. The players have tons of leverage.
Okay, then I'm going to say you want to.
I would just say you want to, Kevin Durant, your whole life is basketball. You care about legacy more than anything. You want to sit out an entire year of your prime.
Pull an AD. You want to pull an AD at age 34. You've already sat out 1 year with your injury. Now you're 33 years old. You're going to take a whole nother year off. Go ahead. I paid you millions of dollars. I gave you a contract
Traded for James Harden, added Ben Simmons. I mean, man, all kinds of.
They can't even bottom out because their picks are tied up for the next 7 years. So
right. So I would play hardball. I would do that, Rye. I would be a little harder and just say, look, this is a championship capable team. You got.
There's thoughts out there that are leaking that are actually the KD thing may have been more about trying to get Kyrie some leverage. Putting that trade request out there was more about getting Kyrie some more leverage with the management, which is bananas.
GD5 says KD's going to be 34 in 2 months.
Yeah. So he's 34. He's not going to sit out his age 34 because if he comes back at 35, he's not going to be the same player.
I just don't think I'd want to be the team that trades for him now because he's never really stayed anywhere for 4 years for the most part. And then on the whoever's holding that contract at the back end is getting stuck with it. Because you're not going to be able to divest yourself of that contract when he's 37. Nobody's going to take it.
Full
so what if KD makes himself an island unto himself? And I my whole thing with KD is it has nothing to do with his game. It has all to do with his personality. It's just there's a lot of drama involved with Durant. He said some things about Kerr. I don't know how they get beyond that. He said some things about Steph. I don't know how they get beyond that. He said some things about Green. I don't know if they get beyond that. And that's the old stuff. What if there's new issues that pop up and then all of a sudden you've divested maybe yourself of Wiseman and Kuminga and Moody and it's just, to me, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's like it could result in one more title, but guess what? You could win a title anyway without him. So you've already proven that, that you need him less than he needs you, right? So isn't that kind of proven?
So what do you think this Royce O'Neal trade?
Oh, I know that was great.
Trading future one for O'Neal.
Brian Windhorst is like, let me tell you.
He's basically it was a slow day on first take because Stephen A. was taking off for the holidays, and he had the Gobert trade before anyone else, and he decided to have fun with it without coming out and saying it basically.
Yeah, and he's playing all this stuff.
But look at that squad. That's a great team. I mean,
Durant, Irving, Simmons, Seth Curry, Patty Mills, Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, TJ Warren, Cam Thomas.
Who's their
That's
center?
A lot of.
Did they re-sign Claxton?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I thought they re-signed Claxton.
Let me check.
Speedy Claxton?
Yeah, Speedy Claxton.
I mean, maybe the one thing I would say about the roster is I would prefer if they had some more bigger wings and maybe a versatile big or two. But
Rebel 444 says, don't they have Claxton too? I think they re-signed Claxton.
Speaking of wings,
so he's a big man who can run.
Speaking of wings and keeping it a little local here, the Warriors need to add a wing. Who's that wing going to be? I mean, I know you like Carmelo.
I think they're just assuming that it's the youngins.
I don't think they're ready. I would not go with that.
Well, what has Golden State still got to do? If they let's just say the KD thing is just all pie in the sky. They're not going down that road. What do they really need?
I see Rodney Hood would be.
What do they got? They got Steph and Poole and Ryan Rollins at the 1. They've got Clay at the 2 with either Poole or Moody, right? At the 3, you've got Wiggins and Kuminga and Moody.
And a little bit of DiVincenzo.
DiVincenzo's at the 2. He's kind of a combo 1-2. At the 4, you've got Baldwin and Draymond. At the 5, you got Looney and Wiseman. So to me, they could use somebody who's a big man. But then you look at what they lost. They lost Porter and they lost Nemanja Bjelica. So I think more than anything, what they really could use is they need a perimeter shooting big. Right. And that's why I think Carmelo is the perfect Warrior because, the thing about Anthony is he's a Hall of Famer and he's not going to shrink in the moment. And if you put in, I like the Carmelo that pre-Portland, I think was all about Carmelo. Yeah. But the last couple of years, both with Portland a couple of years ago with the Lakers, I thought we saw a guy who started to embrace his role as a role player. And I think in some ways he's the perfect role player to add to the Warrior mix right now.
Yeah,
the moment's not going to be too big, and he can play the 4, he can play the 5, he can play the 3. He can give you, he can be that stretch 4 in your small ball lineup.
Shooter, yeah.
I like
was
Carmelo.
he with the Lakers in that bubble team? Was he with the Lakers then?
No, he was with Portland that year.
So he doesn't have a title,
right? He has no ring. That's the thing. I mean, Carmelo comes here, he gets the ring. But, I mean, I also think that Carmelo's got a lot of use. Now, I don't love the idea of bringing back Iguodala.
No, I think Iguodala
seems like he's done.
I think he's done.
No, he don't bring it. Yeah, he would basically be a coach. He'd be a coach that we're playing. I think we have to also remember that every year, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors were smart enough to think this way. Every year there's trades made at the trade deadline and big name guys that get bought out of their contracts and go and join with the contenders on the vet minimum. That happens every year.
Who's a candidate? Do we have any candidate?
Question. Who would the candidates be this year besides like Russell Westbrook? Let me look it up. Let me look up.
Yeah, give me some candidates and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I just feel like they do need a wing that can rebound because the thing that I agree with Cy on this point is that you don't want to have to push the veterans to be playing 30 plus minutes all the time. And if you're going to rely on just the 3 young guys, Moody, Wiseman, and Kuminga to play all these big minutes that you have lost, you need veterans that can eat up some of those minutes. That's why the loss of Porter and GP2 was so big, because there's 2 seasons.
You guys watch the Warriors in the summer league at all? The kid from Brazil looked pretty damn good. Did you guys see that?
Santos, yeah, I like his.
Santos.
He wasn't.
The guy can finish, man. The guy can finish.
Yeah, he does.
And the other guy looked pretty good too. Quinones.
Yeah, I think we signed
step back 3. So who knows? Maybe there's some, I don't know. We've got, it's interesting here. It says Clarence Beek says, feels like the Warriors are keeping spots open. He says, Windhorse pose. Trade is coming.
Ooh, fellas, I might have a nice little buyout candidate.
What do you got?
What
John
about
Collins?
What about Kevin Love?
Okay.
I can see him getting bought out 100%.
Yeah. And Clay back together in youth.
I mean, just a shooting big man that's been in big games.
The greatest outlet passer in years. I mean, I love him as the outlet passer, and he can stretch. He can stretch the floor.
I wouldn't be surprised if
Cleveland.
Yeah, he's in Cleveland. But look at the Utah guys. Maybe if it looks like they're going in the tank, guys like Bogdanovich would be good buyout.
He makes $18 million. They're going to buy him out.
I think they'd buy him out on his last year. Yeah.
What about Rodney Hood? He's a free agent right now. Left-handed wing shooter.
Yeah, Hood. I mean, Hood's like, Hood's
He's had some injuries. I don't know. Well, Rodney Hood's had some injuries the last few years.
Let's see. I was thinking about KD and that contract.
What looked good to me this weekend was Keegan Murray for Sacramento. Did you see that?
Yeah. Incredible. He was incredible again today.
Did he look good? He had 26 against Golden State, but he's strong, man. He's strong.
He looks really great.
When's the Vegas start up on the 7th?
I think today was the first day.
Oh, did they already start in Vegas?
Or I just know it was. I mean, I think like this weekend we get like Chet versus Jabari, and
Chet played tonight.
Chet was incredible.
Carl Foster, who was with us on draft night, and he said that he felt like Chet was the best of the top 3. Based on what we saw in the summer league so far, Chet looks great.
Either that or he's the next Anthony Randolph. But yeah, he's like the one thing I'll say is those highlights. Yeah, he was like 5 for 6 from 3. They were just playing horrible. Like they were just letting him basically shoot the threes. But I mean, 6 blocks and like no time. Keegan Murray again tonight, 24 points.
Did you see the kid,
he's nice. Keegan Murray's nice.
You see the Twitter highlights of Carlos Boozer's son, 14-year-old?
No.
Oh my God! Look him up. He's tall and he's got moves and he can shoot.
Carlos Boozer is an interesting guy. Carlos Boozer, I think, is from Alaska.
I didn't know that.
And Carlos Boozer weighs just a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
You think of Boozer, he looks like about 245. He's like 280. Guy weighs like 280 pounds. At least he played at around 280. So I don't know. The summer league's always fun to watch. It's amazing. I'll tell you, baseball's in real trouble from the standpoint of, think about baseball. Spring training, you're basically playing second fiddle to the NCAA tournament. April and May and June, you're playing second fiddle to the NBA playoffs. Now you've got center stage right now. But guess what? You know it and I know it. 3 weeks from now, we're talking Trey Lance.
For sure.
Yes.
And nobody's going to be
That's why
talking
I'm wearing
baseball.
the Niners stuff.
Nobody's going to be talking baseball. So you lost out on August and September to the NFL. You lost March to college hoop. You lost April, May, and June to NBA playoffs. So the MLB commandeers the audience to themselves from what? Like the NBA finals through third week in July.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's amazing. It's really amazing how baseball has, everybody's just kind of parked their rig in baseball's backyard and made baseball second-class citizens in their own sport. I mean, they only really dominate right now until football camp opens.
Yep.
And does it feel like baseball's dominant right now?
No,
Not
Larry,
at all.
I retweeted something on the 4th of July, and I'd never even thought of this, but it makes so much sense. It's been said before, but the NBA owns Christmas, NFL owns Thanksgiving, even the NHL has New Year's. How Major League Baseball doesn't go full tilt on the 4th of July is bizarre to me. 28 out of the 30 teams are playing today, and that's cool. You never know it, though.
Yeah. Oh, it's totally true.
Yeah.
By the way, this was a story that was breaking tonight. I don't know if you guys saw this. Carlos Santana collapsed on stage during a concert tonight in Michigan.
way.
The Grammy-winning guitarist. He's a longtime Bay Area resident. He was about an hour into his performance, and he suffered some form of a medical emergency, according to reports. So our thoughts and prayers go to Carlos Santana, man. One of the greatest
Guitar players ever.
One of the greatest musicians in the history of this country. Fantastic. And obviously Bay Area guy, a big Bay Area sports fan. So our thoughts go to him for sure. I haven't seen any update on that. That was the latest on what I have.
Wow.
Last thoughts, guys, before we bolt for the door. We're 2 hours and 20 minutes into this live stream. We're about 12:20 in the morning. Giants, if you're just tuning in, Giants lose again, 6 in a row. 6-2 was the final. The game was much closer than that, but who cares? Doval gave up the big bomb late. I mean, that ain't doing anybody any good. I mean, seriously. I mean, you didn't lose that bad. It was I'll say this. It was a good game.
To a horrible team.
The 6-2 is deceiving, I guess is my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you like to have Dalton Varsho, though, as your catcher and center fielder?
How about the guy that I was saying the Giants ought to get, Pavin Smith? He's not even playing. Is he hurt?
Yeah. No, I saw him on
Just
the bench yesterday. I mean, he's just they
sitting
got that
behind the
other young guy
glove
that they got that
blower.
other young center fielder that robbed
Reynolds or
Jock of that
Alec Young, is that his name?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Good looking center fielder though. Yeah, my final thought is this. I put this out to you guys, and maybe we can have a little contest in the chat for the upcoming week. Maybe I'll donate some tickets or something. I am going to 5 of the Giants' next 7 or 8 games. I'm going to San Diego this weekend for 2. I bought these tickets.
Is this against your will, or is this because you wanted to?
I mean, I was looking forward to it.
Somebody broke into your car and left you a pair?
Now I'm kind of like dreading this trip. I'm like, no, I've got 2 tickets.
You're dreading the trip because you've got tickets to the Giants.
It's like, what am I going to see? I mean,
I feel like the Amy G commercial on peddling the tickets takes a different tact, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I mean, the Padres and the Giants have been the 2 worst teams over the last, 3 weeks or so of Major League Baseball. So if there's ever a team that maybe we could snap it against,
I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping they snap it tomorrow. Then they got Thursday in San Diego. I go to Friday night's game and then Saturday. And then Sunday, I'm going to fly up, to the Bay. We've got that deal Monday in the morning, and then I'm going to catch the Giants game Monday night.
I'm not going to be able to make now.
You're going to have to work Monday?
Yeah, I'm filling in Monday.
So you are filling on Monday.
So maybe you guys may have to go without me, but that's all right. We'll get Danny to interview Ricky Waters.
Yeah, we'll have to get a cutout of you and bring you along.
Yeah.
Hey,
is that next Monday?
Yeah, the 11th.
Okay.
Yeah, here's Larry.
That's the NFL Alumni Golf Tournament Monday, right?
Yeah.
It's not open to the public, but you guys will be there.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to go to the Giants, the 3 games, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, before I fly back Wednesday night. Wednesday's an afternoon game. So the question is of those 5 games I go to, how many are the Giants going to win?
How many is VR playing?
I don't know. I think they called up Johnny Tucker from they got him off the scrap heap in somewhere in Scranton, Pennsylvania or something. He's going to be he's real cheap though, but
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Oh, sorry, I just dropped that in there.
So how many are they going to win? How many am I going to see the Giants win? And we should have a little
Arizona in the next 4 Padre games.
No, I'm not going to see the Arizona. I was going to go. It's just easier to watch it here.
Well,
I would say the Giants get beat 2 out of it. Is it a 4-gamer?
It's
4-gamer. It's
Thursday,
Thursday, Friday,
in San Diego,
Saturday,
but I'm just seeing Friday and Saturday. I'm not seeing Thursday, Sunday game.
Well, I'll say this. I'd say Pods take 3 out of 4. I mean, you got to remember this about the Padres. I mean, one, they've got a lot more talent. Second of all, Will Myers is like a superstar against the Giants, especially in San Francisco.
You're missing the one Webb game.
Webb's not pitching Saturday.
He's pitching Thursday.
Oh, that's right. I mean Thursday. Yeah,
tomorrow.
dang it. So I'm going to get somebody. I'm going to get one of their bullpen games Friday, and
bullpen Friday, then Rodon, then Wood.
Will I get Rodon on Saturday?
Yeah, baby.
Ooh, there we go. Okay, all right.
Little Rodon, P. Darvish.
Maybe Rodon will call out the team again.
Yeah, and then I've got
Rodon. By the way, how awful? By the way, were those 4th of July hats?
Yeah, they were terrible.
Oh my God! I mean, baseball is just done.
They look like conductor hats or something.
Hey,
somebody just awful.
A callback to my Bryce Johnson. This guy's big on Bryce. He's a switch hitting, slick defensive center fielder, hitting .292 and 18 steals. Averages 30 steals a season in the minors. I think I might like a little. I like that.
DJ Vinus, Pasquale making another cameo.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, and Mark Graves says go to Haddad's in San Diego. Okay, I may do that. I'm not even going to get a car this time. I'm just going to take a Uber from the airport. I'm going to stay in the gas lamp district. I'm going to walk to the games, and then I'll get an Uber Sunday morning to the airport. And I'm not going to even bother.
You got to hit my buddy owns this Mexican place down in the gas lamp. I think it's called Posada. I think is the name of this place. Really high end Mexican place. Really, really good. Really good. Check it out. It's a little dark in there. It's got kind of like orange neon lights that light up the bar. It's really a very dark restaurant / bar. When I say dark, I don't mean like
horrifying.
Yeah, it's not scary or anything. It's just like
orange though. Hey, they'll fit though. Giants orange, huh?
Yeah. You gotta go check it out. Posada. It's in the gas lamp. The gas lamp district is awesome.
Oh, I love it down there.
I
love it down there.
They've
done a great job. And speaking of, they were ahead of us in payroll. They were up there around 7, I think. The Padres. Man,
Head down to Tijuana. Danny Gonzo says Danny trip is going to take a trip to Tijuana for the senoritas.
Yeah, there we go.
Make a video like Ryan and Dan go. Like we go to like the San Diego Zoo for a day, vlog it.
San Diego Zoo is nice. You've been to San Diego Zoo?
Been there way too many times. Way too many.
What?
Times.
Have you been to the Action park or whatever, the safari park.
Oh, I've been there, the wild animal park.
Yeah.
The only thing about the wild animal park is it's kind of inland, and anybody knows anything about San Diego is it's a coastal desert. So if you're on the coast, it's awesome. But as soon as you go inland, it's hot as hell. So I went out to the wild animal park, and all I'll say is this: get there early and get the hell out of there early.
There you go.
Larry, are you saying that tomorrow that it's very likely in San Diego that it's much warmer inland and a little cooler out?
Warmer inland, cooler on the coast. It's going to be a little cooler on the coast, but it's going to be warmer inland. That's excuse me, pay me $200,000. I'm the weather person. Warmer inland, and it should be a little cooler out here on the coast for sure. Could you imagine if that was your job? If Dan Coccimilgio's retirement planning was just like the same advice over and over and over again. Try not to spend on frivolous things and try to invest as much of your capital as possible.
And remember, buy low and sell high.
Buy low, sell high. It's definitely going to be a little warmer inland. On the coast, I think it's going to be a little foggy. And it's going to be cooler temperatures here on the coast. But if you go inland, it's going to be a little warmer.
It's going to be nice, especially out there in the Concord and Walnut Creek area. You're going to experience.
If you're in Pacifica, you're looking at temperatures in the 60s. But heck, you get into Concord, it could be 90, 95.
For Coccimilgio, I think we lost you. I think we hear something weird in the background. And you're like, oh, no, that's just my $200,000 weatherman job. I just pop on for a second, say the usual, hop back to the money.
I wonder if I can get a day job as GM of the Giants, see what I could do.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun. That would be fun awesome. If I had an unlimited, give me a $200 million budget and I could turn this thing around immediately.
What would you do? What would you do if right now Larry Bear heard this live stream, was driving around and said, you know what? I like Farhan, but I love me some Dan Coccimilgio. And Farhan beat it. I'm hiring Dan Coccimilgio. I'm getting all the benefits of having his brother with a yogurt place because I love yogurt. And I'm going to give Danny some more money to spend, Farhan. So I'm getting rid of you, and I'm bringing in Coccimilgio, and he's got $200 million to spend. Coach, what direction do you say? Are you going eyes on Diaz? Are you going down that road like you've bored us with all that crap?
Here's my first immediate moves first day.
Okay, day one of Dan Coccimilgio era. I
trade Longoria, and I pay half of his salary the remaining year. And if the club who takes him wants to buy him out next year, I'll buy that out too. So
are you going to hire that GM as your assistant GM? Because that guy just got fired from his job for trading for Longoria.
Well, I'm going to trade him to the Angels because they're hurting and they're going nowhere. They don't have a third baseman, and maybe it's going to cost the Angels nothing. All I want is give me a prospect that's got some potential and doesn't have to be a top 20 prospect.
And then Danny jumps back in and says, you know what? Wait a second. And I need soda. I need you to fill my machine. I need you to fill my machine the rest of the year. I want soda.
And you can have and with that deal that we're going to pay, you're going to take La Stella back too. So I'm getting rid of La Stella and Longoria, and I'm going to say those two guys are gone. I'm going to make VR the rest of the season my third baseman, and I'm going to see what he can do, and I'm going to make some trades. I'm going to go out and I'm going to trade probably.
Would you ever say Saby Sabes?
What's that?
Would you ever say the phrase Saby Sabes? As Brad Pitt says in Moneyball, Saby Sabes.
Nah, I wouldn't go there. No. But I'm going to
go. Sabian would kick your ass if you called him Savy Sabes.
Yeah, and I'm going to go into the free agent market, and I'm going to get me one of the top shortstops, and I'm going to make him I'd probably go after Trey Turner or Dansby Swanson, make him the second baseman.
The problem with what you're doing here is Larry Bear's heard this pitch. He's spoken to many GMs that sound the same way you do. But what you really need is something that these analytics can't even fathom to think of, something so smart. Hear me out.
Wait a second. I think I know where he's going.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
maybe not. All right.
There's my
$80 parking.
$80 parking. It's like it's instead of 6-minute abs, 7-minute abs.
We're going to New York style sausage all across the ballpark. We're getting rid of the regular hot dogs and we're replacing them with the New York style deli
It's nothing
sausage.
but crab sandwiches and New York style Italian sausage.
So, but I'm going to go out. I'm going to get me,
force the public to eat crab.
and I'm going to get me another starting pitcher, and I'm going to get me a couple of outfilders. And
Are you going to keep saying it that way too? I'm going to get me some.
Well, I'm going to get this club.
That would be awesome at the presser.
Yeah.
I'm going to get me some this, and I'm going to get me some
I'd have
that.
to be looking at the list, but I would not be afraid to.
But I don't like his phrasing.
I'll spend, and I'm not going to get any long-term contracts because I'm going to sign guys to 2 years, but I'm going to overpay them to sign for 2 years instead of getting a 5-year deal. I'll spend an extra even $5 to $8 million a year on a player above what he's worth just to get him for a short contract.
Will you cut Ruff and Listella on day one?
Well, I feel bad for Ruff because of his situation with his
Will you
dad.
reestablish the Keystone Pipeline?
So what I'm going to do with Ruff is I'm going to make him my Albert Pujols of the roster. He gets to play every so often, and he's my pinch hitter deluxe in late innings. But he's not out there in left field.
Will you demand a rebate on your season tickets?
I will ask for a partial refund. I want if I'm going to continue my season tickets, I want in-seat service. I don't want to have to get up. I want to place
in-seat service. What are you talking about? Lap dance? What are we talking about here? What's in-seat service?
They bring you your food.
Do you want to go to the champagne room?
They bring you your food. They used to do that, but they didn't hire enough people this year because they weren't sure if they could fulfill it. I was told.
A mobile porta potty.
DJ Vinus says Pasquale working overtime to sell those sausages.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner.
All right.
But I think I could make this club work if I took the resources and went ahead and got a couple of guys. Like what I would have done this year, just so you know, I would have went ahead and
lower gas prices.
I would have hired Nick. I would have signed Nick Castellanos for 2 or 3 years, and I would have paid a little bit extra to get him. So
Clarence Peak says, "I'm tired of Putin's shit, Dan. Fix it."
Yeah. I would have had a solid bat from the right side that could play every day, and they don't have that. They do not have a solid bat from the right side. Longoria, rough,
All right. So here, if somehow they called me and said, "Hey, Farhan's out and and you're in," I like DJ Venus's idea. He says Giants should go after Frankie Montas. I'm trading prospects to the A's for Montas and Laureano.
Heard older the other day. I heard. I don't know how serious.
So are you saying I shouldn't trade for him because now he's out for the year?
I don't know how long. I don't know what the report was.
Staff.
I don't know what the report was. I just heard he came out of the game with.
Mark Graves says Dan wants the Tijuana Senorita service.
What if Dan became the GM and just operated on even finer margins than Farhan?
We wish for Farhan because Danny's not spending anything.
Trading for high A-ball players. And
I'm starting Kevin Padlo at third on the corner. And
we're having
the other
Padlo
corner,
bobblehead night.
Mike Ford. My catcher is Michael Papierski. And my shortstop is Donovan Walden.
There's been a huge investigation. We realize everybody who plays on Dan's team is using securemoney.com on the web.
My starting center fielder is Stuart Fairchild from the Little Mouse in New York.
And you're constantly doing interviews calling him Stewie.
Stewie, right?
I think Stewie's going to come around. I'm pretty sure Stewie's going to come around. People get super annoyed by Dan. If I got to listen to that guy call that guy Stewie one more time.
Dan Grove's just a really manicured.
Just imagine the lineup that you had if you took the transactions from this season alone. I mean, I'm not even talking about the ones that came up in 19.
Connor Joe,
and Michael Reed, the two starting outfielders.
Sometimes when I watch Connor Joe right now, I always think to myself, if he just wasn't facing the pitcher, maybe he would have worked here.
Yeah, exactly.
Why? How come when the Giants get Connor Joe, he's facing the pitcher, and when the Rockies get him, he's facing the first base line? I don't know.
But
that seems like a pretty dramatic change, does it not? I mean, it's like having a free throw shooter who's facing the bucket and the other guy is facing like half court. You know, it's like you're not going to shoot as good a percentage when you're facing half court.
Gosh, we could have a full lineup of Luke Williams, Kevin Padlow, the Cruzon, Jason Cruzon, Mike Ford.
I love a good croissant in the morning.
Yeah, the good croissant in the morning is good. Oh, those are really
my
good.
God, you got a great croissant.
Yeah, my outfielders of Kai Tom and Stewie Fairchild, and who else could we put out there?
I love KT.
You love KT?
Kai Tom. I just call him KT.
KT.
All right.
Is he even in the organization? Is he still with the
No,
Giants?
I mean, is he?
I don't know. Where is he?
I don't know. I wasn't my day to watch him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. We, like you said, we beat a dead horse, but it feels.
But we've
good
beaten it well.
It feels good to beat it a little bit because.
Would you play fantasy football the way Farhan does?
He's good in fantasy football, but
seriously,
I mean,
Fam thinks so.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
That's going to do it for us. It's 12:37. We've been going for 2 hours and 38 minutes. Final thought, I'm saying Montas and Laureano. That's the trade that I'm looking for in July.
That's who you want?
Montas and Laureano. Yeah, I think if you had Montas, I could sign both those guys. You know what I mean? I could not just trade for them. I could actually see them trading for those guys and actually reinvesting and signing them. And I think they're both exactly what they need. They need a big power righty who can be dominant at the top of the rotation to give them a little bit more starting pitching depth than what they have now. That's reliable. And then you need Laureano. This team needs more than anything. This team needs some fire. My God. I mean, somebody get pissed. Somebody be angry. I mean, it's just people whispering to Gabe, and it's just I can't listen to any more whispering. It's like somebody do something. Wake up, wake the hell
Jay
up.
Hutch is the manager.
Exactly. My wife is sleeping in the other room.
I need you guys
I would like to make a trade.
You must keep it under a certain decibel.
Could you guys possibly score a goddamn run? Thank you.
Right,
just all calm.
I'm going to turn over the spread today.
I am going to throw Mortadella 7 rooms away from here, and it's going to stick.
So you making that deal if Oakland says
yes,
we'll make that deal if we give us
what
Luciano. Luciano, that's all we want, just one player.
Got to think that one over.
Yeah, because that's probably what they would ask for.
What's Luciano doing right now? Is Luciano doing anything right now?
He's been rehabbing in Phoenix, I think. In fact, I might go check him out tomorrow, see how he's doing. I hear he's down here at the.
Pay him a little visit.
Let's leave his parents alone, though, okay?
They wouldn't understand me anyway. I don't think they speak any English.
I mean, seriously, you're lucky that like Pavlovich and the rest of the crew didn't find out that you did that, because if they had found out,
didn't even find him, man. I beat him to it.
You would have been in the game notes.
I beat those. You know what they said?
I probably would have gotten blamed.
I talked to his agent. He says, "I'll be right up there later on." I go, "I'm not up in the press."
I'll be up there. Like, I can't get in there. Can you get me in? I'd like a free hot dog.
Yeah. So anyway, they have no clue how long he'll be here. The agent says they haven't given him any clue. So I said, well, I told the dad, I said, I hope it's not one of their cameo appearances that your son gets. I hope he gets a real shot. So hopefully they'll do that. If they, I mean, who knows? They pinch hit for him for Tom. I'm just, I don't know. Things aren't working out right now. Things can turn around. Baseball's a funny game. They were 3 out 2-3 weeks ago. Now they're 10.5 out.
Oh, there's no chance the Giants are going to sell. No. The Giants could lose. They can go on a free fall from here. They still wouldn't sell.
Yeah,
they're going to delude themselves into going for it. So it's just a matter of what do you think they could get that would help them, potentially win a playoff series. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of different ways to look at it. I mean, they won 107 last year. If they could somehow sneak into the playoffs this year and maybe win one playoff series, for a lot of people, that would be enough. They would look at that as a successful year. So, that's the thing. I mean, it's how do you view this thing? How do you, what's in their best interest? I don't see them selling because I don't see them selling, but I also don't think they have anything really to sell that is really going to bring in something of different that's going to make a major difference.
Their best asset to trade, to be honest with you, is Rodon. Yeah, it's probably Rodon, and somebody would probably want a guy like Belt maybe for a stretch that had an injury or something. Let's say an injury to a first baseman that was
entire first baseman entire farm system of first basemen was disappeared.
I'm saying if a key guy went out for a contender, let's say somebody lost a short, but the Giants aren't going to trade Crawford. Crawford will retire.
Dodgers lost Chris Taylor.
Yeah, Dodgers lost Chris Taylor. Well, he's their platoon kind of guy. When I mean platoon, utility guy that plays everywhere. I mean, he plays left, center, right, second, short, third. I mean, he's a valuable.
Yankees want an outfielder. Maybe you could move Yaz. They got a short porch and right.
I wouldn't be opposed to that just because, I love Yaz's defense.
Would you trade Yaz for Andujar? Miguel Andujar?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
There you go. That might not be bad. That might be a win-win.
Then you could put Andujar at third. Can
Villar play second every day? He looked pretty.
Yeah,
just not great at second.
You can also DH the guy. I think he's going to be a good hitter in the league. I do think he's a guy that's capable of hitting 25 to 35 home runs a year and hitting 250. If you can get 250 and a guy strikes out 100 times, but he hits 25 to 30 home runs, you could live with that. For sure.
All right, guys. Good stuff. One more monster slam, and then let's Val Ramos says nobody wants Yes.
Drives. Goes in for a monster slam. Oh, no, they're calling it.
Never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you won't get exactly what you asked for. Handful, whatever you bring me getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle.